right? It's early days. We don't actually have much of the spectator system that we need fleshed out, but whatever we're trying to do, we're doing our best. And yeah, so Gunner on the Sage, as we've seen as usual, Dersa on the Raze. So yeah, these are pretty standard lineups, what we've seen basically the entire tournament from these two teams. Dersa. So yeah, again, he's only pulled out the Sova on like one map in this entire event, and that's on the Ascent that we saw just prior. And so he's back on his comfort pick, probably. And the buy is coming out. We see 4 classic armors and 1 ghost from the side of BC, which is
the spike looking like it's going to favor the C side. So we're seeing a decent spread at the moment, but they'll probably play off the contact to see where they decide to fully commit to. Oh yeah, and look at that. The camera's going to spot that early on in long A. They might be trying to garner some attention from the defense, force an early rotate then. Yeah, it looks like they'll get just that as UBC is going to clear off a C site really early. Luckily for them, Irvine still hasn't peaked yet, and they're going to start now, but... Oh yeah, the shoulder spot's out. They're going to make a move in. 3-man push onto the C site, and only 2 people there to defend it.
Oh, hello.
That's jumping around. Lootre takes down Gunner. Second big one on the Dersa. Defense is there, but not doing much. The rotates are there, but they're not pushing in nearly fast enough.
Oh my god, that's disrespectful. Cat finally takes his head off, so... Are we still doing that? Are we still calling him Lootre? I think it's Looter, right? Or, I don't know.
For production to correct me, because it's not as bad as the time I called someone Cosmilk, and his name was Cosmic. That was bad. I said Cosmilk because they just had so many eyes, and it just looked like an L at some point. My brain just couldn't read it right. But that will be the first win on the board for the attacking side. That's always good to see. They'll be able to buy up into the submachine guns here, and to capitalize this the most, they were going to want to try to keep as many people alive, keep mid to long range fights with the SMGs. They don't want to walk into any traps or anything cheeky that the defense might set up for them.
Yeah, I want to mention something that was a bit strange that you pointed out too, Chemix, but they over-rotated to A so early.
So early. They were lucky. They got very lucky that they didn't get punished for that.
Yeah, I mean, just barely, right? Like, Spike was towards C long. Obviously, they have no way of knowing that, right, BC? But they sent people towards A off of just a camera spot. I guess they spotted 3. They had to have, right? There were 3 there. I don't know how much it actually saw, but they...
Yeah, now we're seeing almost the opposite, where no one's rotating, even though the Spike and everyone's heading towards the A site. Nibbler's going to drop ekolypse. Hemler, not soon after. Not long after, I'm sorry, but... Spike's going to go down pretty much uncontested. It's going to be a very slow retake here. Gunner's going to have to wait for the rest of the team, and that's just precious time ticking off the clock as Zig's going to try to get big here and peek over as the rotate comes through from long, slowly but surely.
Man, it's a bit of a slow start for BC. I mean, not really surprising they're losing this eco round. But yeah, I wonder if that's just a bit of nerves coming into this last match of our weekend. Like, over-rotating the first round, and they probably just said, all right, let's sit back, let's wait until they commit, and then we rotate. And maybe they just waited too long in this instance.
Yeah. Plus, like you mentioned, it is an eco round, so really with pistols, they're just trying to do economic damage for it and actually win a round. Maybe get a trade, steal a gun. But unfortunately, they don't get a single kill that round. But they will be able to buy into the third here, hopefully, and they can win their first using these guns. And, oh man, I feel like one of the underutilized aspects of the game are the ult orbs and like farming ult orbs properly. And I feel like it's just one of those ways that when you're on defense or on eco rounds, you can try to equalize things where even if you know you're not going to win the round, you can set yourself up more. Because it just sucks to be down and also be down on ult charges. And it feels like Irvine is just being aggressive with their map positioning. They're taking ult orbs and peeking angles together and just kind of taking over the map as a whole, not even just getting kills.
Yeah, look at that Cat with 2 entries as well. And yeah, this is a buy round, right? This is not an eco anymore. So these 2 headshots on A main are pretty big in terms of the impact on the round. That's both their Cypher and their Raze off. That's, if I'm correct, that's Dersa. Yeah, Dersa, who's had... Oh, That's the never mind. That's the wrong team that I'm looking at. It's actually better for the defense in this case. Nibbler tries to pull one back, and there he goes. That's finally Dersa taken off the board.
Dersa gets a little greedy there on that. No reason to give up the man advantage, and brings a little bit more even to a 3v4, allowing the spike to come back towards C. And with their own Cypher's trip mines over there, they haven't really had to worry about anyone pushing them from there. So we'll see if they can spot out the camera, which will allow ekolypse to... Oh yes, he's going to spot it out. Sees the 2. Gets the first, but unfortunately can't transfer quickly enough to Ryuuun, although Hemmer trades out for it. The rotate's going to come in through B. Unfortunately, for Platinum here, not only do they have no team left to come save him, but the rotate's already quickly here and will be able to surround him from short and spawn.
Yeah,
we'll hear the footsteps. Gunner a little too early on that push, but Hemmer doesn't really matter. The last 2 push from spawn secures it anyway, but probably didn't need to lose the Sage there.
Yeah, it was a bit risky. Not gonna lie, the Sage definitely pushed a bit too fast, and she went down immediately with no response. I think if Platinum played that a bit more slowly, maybe a bit more, checked his angles a bit better, and he didn't wide swing that far, maybe he could have won that actually, because the last 2 players coming from the same position, they probably want to split that left and right of the box. And it didn't end up mattering, but just a bit of a thought, those those small things, in this case, again, like with these 2 teams, how talented they both are individually and as like full man rosters, those little things are the things that could win or lose a round, and they just gotta be clutching at their, that's not the phrase, making their lucky start, but didn't really matter.
Yeah. It is the difference maker when they're battling back and forth, going 11-11, 10-12, what have you, towards the end of the game. It's going to be those little decisions that pay off for them, because that's what makes a player be in the right place at the right time. And at this time, the spike is not really moving anywhere, sitting a little bit outside of the mid and A area, but it seems that Irvine is interested in at least trying to draw attention to the A site. They're content with allowing Ryuuun to just kind of sit and maybe try to trade out, little sage-on-sage violence going on. But otherwise, we're looking at A to be the hotbed of activity here, as some utilities coming out, enemies are spotted, and the frags are going to fly as Zig gets the first on the ekolypse. Cat with a quick one on the Lootre, but Nibbler evening the odds, bringing this into a very chaotic back and forth 4v2 situation, though. Going to be advantageous for Irvine here, especially with the spike down. They really don't have to worry about too many spots, as you can see Ryuuun just clearing out so much area. They know that no one's coming from that direction and are just able to easily lock down Dersa. Don't even let her escape.
Yeah, that's definitely not something the audience really likes to see. If you look at the scoreboard right now, 4-3 if I'm correct. It's a bit blurry because of the connection issues, but it's just the nature of online casting, right? But you know, yeah, 4-3, 1-1. That's pretty rough. And Gunner, he's kind of slow. He slow starts to most of the games, but he ends up on the board eventually. But yeah, Dersa and ekolypse both at the bottom with 1 frag each. That doesn't bode well. As Hiko would say, any Dersimps in the chat? Pretty sure there's a lot of Dersa fans, and definitely him being on 1 frag doesn't really help DC's efforts that much this time.
No, not at all. And right now it looks like Irvine's going to just continue trying to abuse A bit. But that's also one of the things. At the moment, there's not really a ton of excuses for not having frags, because Irvine's been challenging all over the map. They may be kind of favoring A a slight bit at the moment, but they're really just harassing everywhere. Oh man, ekolypse and Cat are just going to get dropped so quickly, and Dersa right after. There's nothing to even do on a rotate there, and the spike's going to come in uncontested and going to get planted as Irvine completely swarms A and takes over, pushing out the defense from every crevice they're trying to hide in.
Yeah, again, speaking of the minute things, 2 left alive, there's literally nothing they can do in this round, nothing they can save either, but you gotta start to think about stuff like ult charges and whatnot, and money, because in a game like Counter-Strike, when you have this kind of buy and you don't have anything to save, you might as well just go for it, but giving them extra ult charges, Platinum, you saw already, he's able to use that Hunter's Fury to their advantage pretty decently. I think he got a pick off of it this round even. And yeah, so if Hammer really wants to go for this, he has to try and preserve his life as best as possible. Might try and go for a ninja, but I don't think there's enough time. He's just going to go back and try and hide inside the beast. There's already enemies there. He's going to get caught. So one step closer to the res, and he actually has it right now, Ryuuun, with his resurrection. And that's 4 alt charges for the side of Irvine. And based on the way this game is going right now, I feel like it's going to snowball pretty hard if British Columbia can't find their footing.
Yeah, and it seems like, as you mentioned, I think one of the big utility differences between a game like Valorant and Counter-Strike is the fact that abilities themselves continue and pass. They pass round to round. You don't drop a smoke or a frag. You get to bring that to the next round. So even if you're saving, if you have full utility, there's no reason to really use it or wait. It's just a very different economic game, and saving or feeding have very different implications than a standard FPS. But for the moment, Spike is going to sit around the mid area as Zig and company try to kind of peek around the connector area. The Spike looks like it wants to head towards C, and if they get the first pick onto defending Rays here, they'll be able to explode onto the C site far too quickly for BC to rotate on. Yeah, it's going to start coming in.
Oh no. Oh, you don't like to see that. Platinum with a frag and a Dersa, not only shutting down the ultimate, but it didn't get anything in the first place, so I don't know if you can really say shutting it down. Flight Plant is going to get commenced, and Nibbler is going to get out of that Brimstone ult alive.
Coming in just a little too late. Ooh,
okay,
ekolypse dropping both of them.
Where is everyone hiding?
Good ult usage here is going to allow him to peek very carefully, and despite this being such a hard position to play from, knowing that all the players are there with Cypher's ult, and there's a wall there, there's so much utility going into this play to cover this bomb charge, and I don't think there's anything they can do to stop the defuse. There's only 12 health left, but I don't think there's any bullets that can reach him. The defenders will win.
Gets a frag with the classic too. That's
yeah. I would say salt is definitely a good word to use, because I don't know what else you could feel other than that.
Definitely well done from the defense to be able to retake that in a pretty difficult situation, if I must say. Dersa with his ultimate still not really having too much success inside of the garage, but the other two were decent enough to be able to take the round back, and still Dersa 1 and 6. Definitely, he's going to want to step it up if he wants to take this first half of the first map, and he might have some more success on the attack rather than the defense. Who knows?
He's doing a good job of... Yeah, Irvine's just doing a really good job of winning these initial encounters. Yeah, there's... Okay, that's actually the first time in a while that Ryuun's lost that that C battle between them and the other Sage, which kind of allows a lot of pressure off of BC, as they're going to start slowly rotating towards the A site early on, which is a very good read, as you see the Spike heading over there through long as well. They're going to have to go through a few tripwires to make it through, but well played shot from Eco before he's dropped, but
I have the Spike.
Another big Cypher ult, a lot of information there. I really like the buffs that they've made to his ult. It's definitely made it a lot more useful than it was during the beta. I think it could probably use a little more, but I'm also just a fanboy for our fedora-wearing hero.
The Cypher, dude, the Cypher ult, I feel like it's already like really good. How
it is?
How could they improve it even? I mean, I'm wondering how could they improve it even more?
I think it's more so like the readability of it. Like I think like the duration and the effect itself. I just think I wish like the visual effect itself were maybe like a little more. I don't know. Maybe it hung around for like another half second. But then
the way to read it, most people don't know this, but the way to read it is just look at your minimap, because it not only shows 3D location, but it shows 2D as well. So instead of like swinging your mouse around to look where are the enemies, I don't know, I have to look up, I have to look down. You can just look at the minimap and be like, oh, this guy's A connector, this guy's inside B, this guy's flanking us from C. Then you know.
Yeah, but I'm not good at the game. I just like talking about it.
Okay. Sometimes you gotta learn. You know?
No, I know. Sometimes that's one of those things you forget. Where you're like, oh right, shit, it does just pop up right there. My brain is so small. Ooh, Nibbler with a big pick through the wall onto Hemler. Hemler? Oh my god, I'm sorry. Hemmer.
He's literally just walking no respect. And yeah, Gunner shuts them down, but Zig has a response on that as well.
Yeah, the spike's gonna quickly just rush into save. Yeah, there's not much you can really do there. And you know, BC is just trying to eco and do a little bit of damage, and they at least got one frag so far. Cat, ooh, gonna get dropped by Lootre so quickly. And unfortunately, that's like the antithesis. If you're going to sit around and wait for the whole round and you want to try to like do something sneaky, it sucks to just get dropped by walking by someone like that. Ooh, and they can't even get the Sova kill afterwards either. That's really unfortunate. That's gonna be another round on the board for Irvine, 6-2 in their favor. And Cat said in the interview before this that they made adjustments and they really don't feel like there was anything special they had to do. They just needed to play well and not mess up the same way they did the first time. And right now, it's looking a little rough for BC.
Yeah, I remember a couple. I almost said a couple. No, two. Like I said two. What am I doing? Yesterday, after Irvine's game. Okay, I'm wrong again. This morning after Irvine's game, I remember. I don't remember who, but someone came in for an interview on the team of Irvine. And he mentioned that Northeastern, the team they beat earlier, was the only team that they were worried about in the tournament. And I was like, wait a minute, hold on. They didn't even take as many rounds off of you as BC did. But now, looking at this performance so far on the side of Haven, I'm starting to understand because it looks fairly dominant right now. GoZig's got another pick onto the Cypher, so they've already found Haven in this, or no pun intended, but they found safety in this ace fight site, and it's completely clear the retake's gonna... It's probably gonna commence because Cat does get a pick, so it's a 4 versus 4 even man count. Looks like they have plenty of util as well. 3 smokes, a molly, and a Grammys in, and that's not even looking at anyone else. But Dersa locks in, and that continues his streak of getting shut down before he can do anything. So maybe that's
not like great ult usage by Zig either, as Hammer drops in. Luckily, Zig can at least get a kill with a gun for a quick triple, but gets dropped by Cat afterwards. Luckily, luckily, the defense had plenty of time to rotate in here, so Cat still has a chance here. It's not the most impossible odds, but now they really don't have any option but to hold down the defuse.
Are they calling a bluff? Oh no, they didn't get. Alright, I was about to say, if the Sage was there, able to get that kill on the short player, maybe that was doable. That actually looked
dropped off
reasonable.
Though. Gunner drops the op in that death. Oh, that's tragic.
They look at their money too. That's they can't
buy. That's a big loss. Yeah, and see, look how much Nibbler. Even though Nibbler died, Nibbler is sitting on 71k. Like that hardly matters. 7k. I'm sorry, 71,000 is a lot more money.
71,000 credits.
Yeah, and here I thought that they were really trying to fix running away with the economy.
Right? Yeah, they lowered it to 9k and then they upped it again. Yeah, like whatever. Well, we'll make a limit of 100,000. Like
screw it. Why not? Rounds. Why are we going to punish people for doing well? Ooh, and Ryuuun punishing Gunner for not being as good and blowing the head off with an operator with a quick pick down C long. Still not pushing the spike with it, allowing BC to kind of hang themselves here, waiting to see how they respond on the defense before really pushing through any more. Fireball's going to peek in, spots one.
It missed the guy in the sight. It missed Dersa right next to him.
They're not going to check this out.
He's got a shotgun, and he whips the shot, but he gets one. At least an Ekolypse gets another, but Ryuuun has something to say about that as he gets his triple kill, and the round is actually looking for an ace because his teammates haven't really contributed much other than just pushing with him into the site. The Cypher's low on HP, so the sniper isn't going to matter. But Cat,
Nibbler's just watching the flank at this point, so really it just kind of comes down to Lootre holding here, and Ryuuun just watching the short BC connector because they know no one's going to flank. I'm honestly not really sure why Nibbler is sitting in that position. I feel like he could probably be a little bit closer, but...
He crashed. He, in the earlier this round, there was a messaging chat. I was like, what? But yeah, Nibbler disconnected.
Oh, okay.
So they don't actually know it's a 2v2 right now. They think it's a 2v3. So the defense of BC is actually going to back off of this, which is probably the best decision. Just save the weapons that you have. And it's really trying to protect his team.
And as you mentioned, that's one of the big things you have to remember. There may be like a disconnection issue, but the other team doesn't know that. So as long as you play it cool, as long as they just look at the scoreboard and go, oh shit, there's another guy alive. Yeah. So they played that calmly, still cleared the site as if they had all 5 members connected properly, and it worked out for them real well. And that brings us 8-2.
Oh gosh, I actually can't tell anymore. Our audience is saying Lootre. I don't know if it's a meme or if it's actually how you pronounce
Yeah,
it.
are we getting
I
trolled?
can't tell. I feel like I'm getting trolled. I might have
God,
I might have encouraged
are you
it
there?
before, but oh, this is a little missed shot from the defender. So he expected that shoulder peek, but wasn't fast enough to catch Ryuuun. So now it's the attacker with the advantageous angle now to see if the Sage is going to re-peek, but I don't think Gunner wants to challenge that again.
Cat's a bunch of liars, so I never trust him on anything. But Cat will be here to take down Lootre. And, you know, I still don't think they figured out that Nibbler is MIA.
For you.
And, you know,
how it's in a custom game, it doesn't show you. It only shows you online. I never found that out until like fairly recently.
What's that?
It's because like the round after you DC on an online match, it shows you that you've DC'd for the enemy team, but not in a custom game. It doesn't do that.
Oh, okay. So that's why that makes sense. Well,
I mean, it's still working. They don't apparently they don't need him. Feels bad for him, but they're making the rounds work anyways. An entry on a garage, and Dersa still still not having.
yeah, and if they watch their mini map well enough, then they'll see if anyone peeks pushes through from spawn. So it's kind of working out. We're gonna see. Ooh, look! Watch this push down from C.
Ooh, well,
Gunner's gonna get pincered by Zig and the other two there, Sova and Sage pushing in alongside Zig. Yeah, Platinum on the Cal. They are literally 4v5ing them right now. This is I'm actually speechless.
The time.
Oh
There's
no!
8 seconds. The spike is all the way down C long. He has to walk in, and Platinum's
Plant,
checking
no.
the corners. This is still a player backside, and he doesn't manage to get the frag onto Hemmer. And somehow Hemmer has just saved the round for the team of BC. They've won their first in a matter of I think three rounds. They took
Still don't know it's a 4v5. They're probably so stoked and like we did it.
And the last guy's just saving, and they're like, no, but no, he's just DC'd. But yeah, they take it. Maybe that's just what they need. Irvine making this slight mistake there, leaving this spike close to spawn. I guess they're running a good default, which they have been. I can't lie. They've been running really good rounds.
They're just down a person at the moment, which is unfortunate.
They're like, hey,
and
dude,
production confirms it's Lootre, so Twitch chat confirmed liars and bad people.
Wait, this guy says Lootre E.
Yeah, see, you can't trust these kids. Can't trust them at all. And yeah, unfortunately, still gonna be disconnected, and they're going to leave the spike in a safe spot, but hopefully not as far back as last time. Gonna shoot down the steel barriers on those doors, increase the amount of damage that can be done through them through wall banging. There's some contact at long A might be going on shortly. It's the only thing that Irvine's really pushing on for the moment. Otherwise, they're pretty content to just hang out by spawn.
It's kind of funny. They've been running such aggressive defaults all the rounds, and as soon as they drop one, they just sit back, they chill. I think it's probably going to end up being an A execute eventually, but it's taking some time. And who knows how much util they've gone out from the players on the site. Here we go. So they get the first pick, which is good for them. 3 versus 1 now, and Cat finds no impact again on the round. So it already looks like it's over for this one. It looks like a 9-3 first half, unless the 3 players left can pull off what they think is a 3 versus 5 retake, but we know that with 1 player is gone. So it's technically a 3v4. Still going to be very hard with the way Irvine is hitting all their shots. We saw the Sova player literally get 2 players with headshots through a wall, and now they have to walk into his gunfight. So I don't really see this happening. And ultimate as well for the opposing Rays, and not even one to the
They got fantastic entry there. Good patience on the long A push there as they kind of peeked through as the rest of the team was hanging through in mid. Gets another big kill on the Dersa.
Oh my god! What?
That's an ace! That was some fantastic trigger discipline, flicking back and forth between all of them. What more can you ask for in a clip? Zig's got me feeling pretty big right now.
What is this man do? I actually made a mistake there. I said the opposing Rays didn't have an ult. He did.
Hold on a sec.
It didn't matter. Like the unbelievable both like I guess I don't know if you can say trigger discipline because he just shot Dersa like right out of the air. So just great skeet shooting great, whatever. Everything about that last little scenario, getting both the entries onto the site as well and holding it down, even though the players on his team that were with him did get removed by an ultimate and another person just using their gun. And yeah, just like what in the
And
world, that flicked left on the player dropping from heaven trying to avoid the fall damage. He dropped on the box, but it's still like 45 degrees away from his crosshair. Zig was able to land that bullet as well. I just don't understand. That was
just fantastic
magnificent.
reflexes, and just like a cat ready to pounce, just waited there at A long so patiently while the rest of the team worked mid, and then just opened up the entire site for the rest of them just to charge in with, and then opened it up, locked it down. That was just a beautiful 5 kills to watch happen.
Yeah, I think because we have those technical issues, we might just be we're just
Yeah.
gonna rehost. There's no might because we've already done it. We'll see if we can get this final player left in the lobby. It's the unfortunate thing is it is a player from Irvine that's missing, and it's Irvine that is seemingly having absolutely no problems with this map number 1. So hellish to see what might happen to BC after this guy comes back, whenever that might be. But yeah, we'll just have some time to just chat about what we've seen, what we haven't seen from BC, namely a couple people's performances, like maybe ekolypse and Dersa. They've looked so good throughout this tournament, and they're just not showing up right now. And I think that's a pretty big deal, just considering what they have brought to this team and the fact that it's missing. I'm not entirely surprised they're down so many players at this point.
Yeah, and it just seems like they're getting initial frags, but they're not trading, they're not refragging, they're just not able to close out. So these players, they're definitely here, but they're just not together. It feels like we're watching a lot of just individual play, and it seems like those cracks in their defense, or just the cracks in their play, I'm sorry, just like as like a team, as a cohesive unit, are just, it's just not enough right now. And they can't rely on individuals just to get frags when Irvine's just pushing really well coordinated. What do you do when 3 people peek you at the same time? You can't out-aim that. You need to have positioning, utility, your other team. Like, there's just too much that you need to handle with just skill alone.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, unless you're Zig, then you can hit like 5 shots at once. But not
There's always
everyone's
that.
go Zig or go home. We'll just point that out right now. He is one of a kind. There is a reason Irvine has him on his team, probably. And
Yeah.
I did want to. I forget what I wanted to say. Oh, yeah, okay. So there might be like a saving grace for the side of British Columbia, because I think last best of 3 Haven was the map that they kind of fell short on a tiny bit. That they actually dropped Northeastern. So maybe this just isn't their map. Like Irvine probably wanted to play it. I'm not surprised seeing BC struggle so much on it last map. And Irvine, we know, is a good team. And while BC is as well, this might just be their weak point. And again, it's a best of 3, so they have some leeway dropping this map. All they can't do is drop 2. And Irvine technically has more leeway. They are able to drop 2. They're able to drop this entire match just to go to another match entirely, to another best of 3, just reset it completely. And yeah, so they're going to be looking forward to the Haven pick if that ends up happening.
Yeah, we're going to a quick agent pick. They'll be picking, obviously, the same agents that they were in the first half, but just a necessity in getting the server set up into the same state that it was in for the first half. So we're basically going into a new game, but pretending like it's the second half of the one we were just playing.
Yeah, I'm curious how they're going to do it, because I know during the early ages of the Siege era, where we didn't have rehost tools, we just, like, the producers had to go and kind of stick the numbers at the top of the screen with, like, pictures. And we'll see what happens. But yeah, so I think our Irvine are actually 8-4 up, if I'm correct with keeping track of the score. So they need to take 5 more rounds on this half to be able to take this map over the border. And don't want to be biased here, but just for the sake
Score
of
is 9-3. The current score is 9-3 in Irvine's favor. UC Irvine has 9 to BC's 3.
Oh, you know what? I'm wrong. Yeah, because I scratched out a number, but I read it anyways, because I'm a pig brain like that. But yeah, okay, we're good.
All right,
So
we're gonna see.
rounds.
Let's see how they're splitting up here on defense. We've got all 5 players, luckily, here on defense finally, and the spike's going to initially be postured towards the mid position. That's a aggressive camera placement to try to peek out into the BC connector.
Okay.
Nice dodge from Ryuuun onto Cat. Immediately stops any thought of BC peeking down C.
That's just rude. Just the mechanical skill of all these players just displayed right there. Like, it's not even just him either. It's everyone on this roster for Irvine.
Yeah, and on a pistol round like this, you don't have any utility to work with, so it's just mechanics.
Spike does get planted on B, no less. So retake gonna commence soon, since they already are a man up. And instant frags inside of Ryuuun. And a right click as well from Lootre. That's just disrespectful. Ekolypse goes down in the corner. And it's all up to Dersa. Can he do it? He's trying to make something happen, but still gets absolutely nothing in this round. That's just unfortunate for the side of BC. Just losing the first pistol as well on the second half, where they're already down a round. Or they're already down more rounds than I even thought they would. They're down by 6. Now they're down by 7. So probably a save coming out from the side of BC, making them down by 8. Not a good standing for this side. You see the setup from Irvine too, similar to what they've done before. So interesting to see BC not really run a default around that, try to counter-strat a bit if they did some VOD review. But Irvine run this setup pretty much every time they play Haven. They run the Cypher, Tripwires on B, and run the Cypher Man on A site, which is interesting. Not something I've seen too often. It's probably been done before, but just unique to see. I guess these aren't even pug teams, but just teams that aren't T1 level teams doing this kind of thing.
I think what you find interesting in that last round too is, despite the fact that BC got the bomb down, they stayed in the B site. And when you're stuck in there in post plant, it is very hard to stay alive. As you saw, they just got pushed in on, and you can only hide in 2 places. So there's only so much you can really do there. And it's the same way, like we saw Cat not having exactly a great performance last time that they were playing on this map in the last best of 3 they were in. And we're seeing Irvine completely go, yeah, no, we don't play defense there. We retake. We don't sit in there though. But he just sets those up and is just content to let them push up mid if they want, but the predominant defense is happening towards the A and C sites. B is just a retake as an afterthought, which is honestly the way it kind of should be based on who we're seeing winning.
Revealing area.
Alright, it's a big Sova arrow over top. That's going to reveal a lot of information.
Yeah, should spot you up the rain is spotted, so oh, it's kind of tight, kind of a bit awkward, Cat. But yeah, that Sova arrow, he throws that every single time too. I've seen him do that in a couple rounds. He knows one all the way to A garden from that same position, so he's got a lot of flexibility playing from the same spot, but he gets information
a lot of different looks
every single round at the start.
Yeah, we see both Cypher cameras doing a lot of work here, although Irvine's camera gets taken down as Gunner drops it. I'm sorry, as Ryuuun drops it from across their C positioning. Gonna try to double peek down there. The spike. Oh no.
Yikes.
Zig getting big on Eco, just drops a grenade right in his lap. Okay, we're gonna see the spike slowly kind of back out of C. Think twice and kind of go over there, and oh, Platinum's just getting. That's just rude.
He's shaking, dude. He's shaking, but Gunner apparently not of his own accord. He's got a steady arm and he's able to land a headshot on one of the players inside the B site. Now rotating all the way to A. These guys hear it.
And they should hear those footsteps.
Yeah, all the way inside. He does get the slowdown, and he wants to go for the fight. Wait, what is this? That's a bit strange. I thought he wanted to go for the gunfight, maybe catch Ryuuun off guard, not expecting him to not plant that soon. But he, yeah.
I'm a little speechless. I think Platinum is just looking for a little fun. And right now we have 12-3 in favor of UC Irvine. And they only need this is map point for them. They just need one more, and they've just basically just stomped BC on Haven. Like there's no other word for it. Stomp, crush, brutal, savage, wrecked. You know the good gifs. I don't need to sadistic art, guppy, whatever the gif of Flusha shaking his head back and forth is. Like we've all seen it. Sadistic sad guppy. Oh. Artistic guppy? I don't know. But we're just going to see the spike that practically walk itself up B as Cat gets a quick one on the Looter.
How?
Triple with Nibbler now.
I find it kind of funny how this is the first round that it really seems like they're in contention. And it's on Chico as well, just running in with the Bulldog. Dersa finally, again, he's got kills. He's actually got kills. I think he's got, what, 2 in the round? Maybe 3? No, maybe 1 or 2. And Cat running in again with the Bulldog, picking up that Vandal off the floor, the first pick that they got inside of B, and just,
and that will be, despite the scoreboard, that is their 4th round total, with University of British Columbia now at a total of 4 rounds to UC Irvine's 12. Irvine just needs 1 more to secure the map in this best of 3. And with the amount of money that they have saved up, it really won't be much of a problem for them to gather some equipment together and bring it to the boys. So we'll see if they can close out this round, or if BC will make them work for it a little harder. See the spike heading over towards the A site with a short and long split happening. Lootre's going to need to make quick work of Dersa with the shotgun.
Hashtag T-Tours, but no, Dersa actually picks up that kill as well, so Lootre not going to make the buck. He worked so well for him as he did in the split game earlier today, I remember that one. But they've actually got control, basically, almost, now they do, of the A site. One player is pushed up spawn, and he managed to get a headshot into Dersa, but not before his teammate already gets taken out. Caught with a heal in hand, too, and he gets taken out from that, and Cat still looking good. Finally, we see this player perform. He's been so influential in all of their wins so far for the team of BC, and now finally he's actually waking up, landing the headshots that he needs to. That little transfer onto the BC player was disgusting, but we have Zig here. We saw what he did before we had the rehost. This man can aim as well, and he's already landed the first headshot on the player that was probably their main carry, but thank goodness for them, they have a double peek, because the first one actually wasn't enough. Hammer goes down, and Gunner is able to clean up.
That was way closer than it deserved to be. Zig is not messing around. That brings it 12-5 now. That's still a good round from BC, and they definitely need to start earning more and more of those, so at the very least, they're not out of this map just yet, but at the very least, they need to start building momentum for map 2. And rounds like that are exactly what they need. A little pizzazz, a little flair, something to laugh about when you're buying up for the next round, you know, something to give you a little confidence, a little swagger in your step. See, the spike is inert at the moment, but Gunner, inert as well as Lootre, puts a bullet through that body, drops it into a 4v5, only a minute 20 into the round, but make that a 3v5. Not great on attack. You don't want to see your, you don't exactly want to see that much time left on the clock and nothing to show for it. Oh, Cat getting a fan.
What? How did that happen? I was about to say they got a lot of space inside garage, but there were 2 players behind. They finally take it back, but that gunfight was a bit labored on the garage window. It
looked like Cat just might have walked up. I think the trip mines were just either not there or got destroyed in the process. I'm not exactly sure, but Eco takes down Lootre, and they're going to have a lot of agents on this map. Oh no, not anymore, as Zig just presses X to delete.
Wait, what? No. Do they know? They couldn't.
I think it was just a spam.
That's so rude! You can't do that to Cat.
They still don't know. They still don't know.
This man is still staying alive. He's not got Spike under control. Oh gosh, that's so unfortunate. He had such a chance there. But that's actually going to be the map, if I'm correct. That's 13.
Yeah, Cat showing 9 lives there. I think we saw all 9 lives go through there as grenade after wall bang after just danger lobs itself towards his direction, and unfortunately can't keep the game going. And that will be the last round that Irvine needed to secure that map. And oh boy, I mean, I'm glad that British Columbia started waking up a bit at the end and seemed to be playing the game a bit more, but that was definitely Irvine's to win.
Yeah, I mean, I guess at the beginning I was surprised, but looking back at just the history of these 2 teams, as well as the map history between BC and the side of Northeastern, again, I'll mention one more time. Haven was their weaker map. They managed to take the bind pretty convincingly the first time. Haven, they dropped the ball and it had to go all the way back to overtime, which Northeastern actually won out, so they didn't even win the map. And then Ascent, finally the 3rd pick for both teams. That's when it finally went in favor of BC, which is how we got here in the first place. But yeah, not the Haven team. I gotta admit, they have more favorites. So it's unfortunate that they let it through the I guess the pick phase, the ban phase. The fact
Yeah.
that we only have 4 maps too, the fact that we can't really have a ban phase with this iteration of the game because it's so new. But yeah,
Yeah, I
hopefully
was.
they can just bring it back in the later ones because they do have the choice now because they did lose. That is the way. I don't think we ever did you explain last time the way the ban system works here?
I don't believe so. I came in. I think I came in with someone else. I think they might have done the game before me. I don't recall, but I haven't.
With the keg, yeah. So because the last one was our first best of three, the audience might be a bit confused on how we do our bans, and trust me, I was too, because again, 4 maps is really weird. But the way we do it is we have dynamic map ban. So we ban maps based on who wins and who loses throughout the best of threes. So we didn't have to worry about this because we're literally all best of ones up until today and last map. But the way it works for best of three is we have no bans. So no one gets to take a map out. Everyone just picks. And the way we pick is the lower seed, if I'm correct, picks the first map. The other team picks a side, then we play the game. The team that loses that first map gets to pick the next map, and then those opponents pick the side. So right now, BC has the choice of a map pick.
Higher seed
I
picks map. Higher seed picks map.
Okay,
Thank
so
you
I was
for
wrong.
production for
So
the
that
correction.
makes sense
Yeah,
because I
higher
was I
seed
was
picks the
confused
map,
on
and the
why.
loser picks to pick map or side.
Mm. Oh yeah, that's true. That's true. See, that's actually that bodes better because that means Irvine actually picked the map. I was a bit scared thinking that BC picked the map of Haven, but no, that's not the case. So yeah, so they're likely gonna go to a more comfortable map for what they like to play, which will likely be Bind. I'm not entirely sure. I didn't manage to catch the first game between these two teams because it was the first game of our entire tournament that these two teams faced off. So I'm not entirely sure what map they
Yep.
played. It probably was Bind. Not
Yeah,
gonna lie, that's very possible.
but that's the one thing that's the one of the advantages of playing the best of three is that you can take that first loss on the chin and then come back in map two. And the first game that they played was on split.
Okay,
Um,
so it wasn't
so
Bind.
yeah, so and in the interview with Kat, he mentioned that he felt that they just messed up that map and felt like it was a very easy fix if they got to do that again. So um, I don't know. Well, hopefully they will be able to kind of fix some of the things that happened. They definitely got some. We saw some steam in the engine. They had some
Mhm.
really good plays there, and we're starting to have some moments. And there were definitely some close ass rounds there. But we'll have to see if they can really dig their heels in and swing back because we need to see that explosive, dominant UBC that we saw in the previous best of three. Because right now, Irvine's definitely a little too comfortable.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't blame them, right? Like you can't if from what we've seen with this team so far, they are, I think, our favorites. We've definitely got our top three today, like in the best of three before, and then this one. Those three teams that faced off are 100%. They're the contention for the winners. But the fact that Irvine, one, they haven't dropped a map. Two, I think in their player history as well, in their player bios, which we've had this is a bit of time to look into, these guys seem to be very much how do I say, they're tenured. These guys have been playing, and not only that, they're kind of, I think Irvine's esports institute is kind of, it's revered, right? I'm that's what I've heard.
One of the first ones to really kind of develop a program. Yeah, we're seeing more and more colleges and public institutions kind of pick up esports as like a legitimate activity, competition, club type
Mhm.
activity. You'll have to
So
see
yeah,
it.
that's probably one reason why they're so powerful right now. They just have the practice times. It's literally just like soccer. It's like football. It's like any of those things. Like you get low enough grades and the coach doesn't let you play. But it's the same deal. They have time dedicated to these types of things, which I think is really beautiful. Something that the tournament organizers here were that's kind of the idea, right? We're trying to build a collegiate league. We're trying to build just grassroots for students to be able to do this kind of thing because it is basically just like it's literally sports except online instead of being out in the field and getting down and dirty, like literally you do that in the server, which I
Yeah,
think is really cool. I think it's a really
yeah,
cool concept for
it's
the people that are
teamwork,
here.
it's problem solving, it's conflict resolution. There's a lot of really good stuff that you see, and I think in the same way as sports and esports, you see a lot of a player's personality and how they play. So
Mhm.
I think it's just nice to see that and not only are esports becoming like a more welcome thing, but we're talking about it in a healthy way. You know, I think like Counter-Strike has been really good in kind of leaning like a work-life balance in terms of, hey, you need to be good on the server and also like healthy in real life. So it's been cool seeing the evolution of this community just completely just keep growing over these last 8 or so years since things really started blowing up.
It's actually crazy how this stuff is so new, right? Because like 10 years ago, this stuff didn't exist. It's I feel like it's just like the
Yeah.
concept of
Dream hacks
back
were
in
going on in garages in like early the
yeah,
2010s, you know?
it's surreal too. Not only for the players, but for like all the production people as well. It's literally like imagine a world before railroads, and then as soon as they're invented, there's literally new jobs that
Yeah.
exist out of nowhere. Like there's people that drive the trains, there's people that build the tracks, and that's a similar concept as to here, where we just have a complete new ecosystem of stuff that people can do, which is I think that's really cool.
It's not only just people like us who are interested in the games, but it's younger people who want to keep playing these new games, who want to compete, who see it as an opportunity to show their stuff. And you know, it's as long as new blood comes in, subcultures are always going to be healthy. You see it just about anywhere. If it's always the same people hanging around, it's not good because that means there's no real growth. But right now, we're just seeing all of this interest and all of this fresh talent come into the game right now, and just in esports in general, just more and more people are looking at it and going, "Oh, I want to do that." Or at least I want to watch that, which is the coolest thing, because people who just genuinely don't even care about playing the game but want to watch, that's sick. That's what most people who watch football and basketball do. They don't know how to play the game. They can't even throw a football,
Oh
but they enjoy
gosh,
watching
shots
the game, and that's
fired.
what matters to them. No, I don't even say that. I wouldn't even say that's a bad thing. It's
No,
just
yeah,
being able
I
to.
know.
It's just a whole different sort of appreciation where it's like that whole culture's about it, and now we're getting a whole generation of people who view esports in the same way. And luckily, we get to be on the ground floor here as official Promo Gaming, are setting the ground floor for a Valorant tournament, and like you mentioned, a grassroots league, and you know, the start of a new community. So glad to be here.
Same as well. So just because this is potentially our last best of three, this could be our last map even because Irvine won the last one, but we'll have to see in about 40 minutes. But because again, this is again might be a last best of three. Just gotta say just a thank you to all the production here because it's l- mm, it's a struggle. Like just not to sugarcoat it, it's hard because we are at home. This is a really difficult situation for basically everyone in the world right now. It's not a good time of planet Earth, basically, to just put it as simply as I can. So everyone here just they're doing a great job. They're doing everything they can possibly do to make this stream the best quality they can possibly have it because we're not a dream hack. Let's be honest, we're not ESL. We're not Flashpoint, all that stuff. We're not Face It. But we're just dudes in our home.
Girl on us.
Most of us, I think, are like college graduates or something. And yeah, so we're just people that enjoy esports that are trying to provide to everyone else that also does the same thing. And yeah, so everyone that's working behind the scenes, Apple Pie, I almost said promo, but I think it's actually who's it running the account right now? Giga, Go Bears, all the
Always one on
people.
promo.
Yeah,
Yeah,
just like
a lot of people doing a
thank
lot
you
of
guys
stuff,
so
and
much.
it's fantastic. And thank you everyone for joining in and taking a break from that aforementioned craziness of the world to just kind of relax for a little bit and have a little fun with a video game known as Valorant. And as we kick into the first round here, we have UCI defending, as we'll see.
Yes, this should do.
Nice A/B split here on the defense.
This goes
3 to
here.
2. Usually, I feel like, especially on pistol rounds, you can get away with stacking 3 on A and quickly running through teleporter if need be. But right now, they really are trying to pinch into the middle and leaving those wings open on defense. So, but it'll be interesting to see as the attack lines up with the spike to push B slowly but surely.
Look at these lineups too. It's something that we haven't seen very much. We've seen a couple, but I think something that we can't ignore is the Omen pick from the side of...
There's contact. They're gonna have to go quick now. Without much utility to work with, but once the info is there, they have to just take these duels. Big kills from Lootre and Nibbler. Triple for Lootre now. He can't be stopped. He's taking all the goods. He's going the PacSun. He's going the Vans. He's going the Hot Topic.
I mean, Gunner
No store is
managed
safe.
to get out of there, but he's being chased from both sides right now. There's a player going in from spawn who is already here, by the way, so no grenade for him. Probably just gonna get shot right after. Yeah, jumping shots from Zig. So a very, very, very clean round from the side of Irvine. Yeah, that is Irvine on the defense. Holy moly, it worried me a bit when I saw the 3-on-B. That's not something. A snack? That's not a snack at all. It's not a stack that you see very often on the site. Usually it's like you run the Cypher on A if you want to stack 3-on-B. They have the Cypher still on B with a breach, with an omen. So not only do you have vision denial with the smokes, you have a stun. And that was the biggest deal, I think, because the attack of BC, they just decided to send everyone up through B long. And when you have 5 players in a location, there's not much you can dodge. There's not much space that you have to dodge a breach, a stun. So that just kind of just ended them.
Yeah, and area denial works really well when they're all in the same spot. And as you saw, this, it's good that they at least got the bomb down. That gets them a little bit of money to work with here. And they're going to very much fully save so that they can get better equipment in round 3. But we'll see if BC can get a little cheeky here and either get another spike plant or at least get a kill, perhaps steal a gun. And they'll spot out the first in heaven. I don't know about the player behind box. Right now, they don't really care about the players. They're just trying to get the spike down. Then Zig is going to take down Eco. Plant will go off. Zig getting another triple now. We'll see if he can make it 4.
Oh, he has no idea where to
Big
look.
scramble,
What
takes the pistol out.
Jeez.
Doesn't matter though, Ryuuun and Nibbler will clean things up. The spike will go, will be defused, and a clean round with all 5 players for the defense surviving. But that will be a good amount of money for BC going into the next round now, as they've gotten 2 successive bomb plants off, and they pretty much spent nothing on that last round. So, despite the scoreboard being 2-0, BC has set themselves up to, have the best odds they possibly can for these next 2 or 3 rounds now.
Yeah, so they do have a full buy, which is good, but definitely they should be winning these 2 oncoming rounds. At least this one. Right? If they want to.
Yeah, and with the loss bonus, if they keep losing, they should still be able to buy up afterwards. That is the one thing, the more you lose in this game, the more money you get to kind of come back with. So you don't have to be as conservative as things go on, but we'll start to see some exchanges here as Dersa drops Nibbler but gets traded by Platinum. And the spike doesn't really make any progress. We kind of see a bit of a reset here as 2 of the players, as Gunner and Eco are kind of stuck up here in the short A position, are trying to push through now, but we're seeing a lot of utility be exchanged, and the rest of the players from Irvine are starting to rotate from B over to A. Spike planted, Cat with a quick kill, followed up by Gunner. Dire situation for Platinum now as 1v4, despite having a lot of utility, a lot of area and vision denial, not a lot to work with in terms of trying to take 4 players down. And Cat will just peek and pounce, dropped immediately.
I think Platinum almost landed that one. That was close, but just a millimeter off Cat's head, and just that's all it took for that fight to be won. But yeah, they get 5 kills, and that's a round. Just looking at the scoreboard too, the fact that they only have 5 in 1 round. Yeah, the 2 first round, or the 2, what is it? That doesn't make sense. The first 2 rounds, that's how to say it. Those 2 were both flawless, so they didn't get a single kill in the first 2 rounds, and finally they end up with 5 for the 3rd. And yeah, so they probably should have just taken that one anyways, because the defenders had worse guns, because just a bonus round. So not
Were chopped quickly, followed by Platinum, and they were forced into an eco to begin with, so it was going to be a tough exchange to begin with. But just immediately, not even a minute 30 into the round, and it's a 3v5 situation, 3v4 now, but it's that quick double into the B site. It's going to make it really difficult to hold it.
Oh god!
Lootre playing smart with that shotgun, uses the ult to not only get the information, but upgrade himself to a more suitable weapon.
He wants to actually make this doable. I think the default's still in place right now, so they don't
No, I
have
think he
too
lost
much
track, though.
information.
I think he lost track of Dersa. He's looking in the wrong spot.
This is just timing. It's literally just completely timing right now. Who's going to peek first? And yeah, Lootre should know now that Dersa is still in his sight. And what is this? This is
man, the
most
timing.
infuriating thing from a position where you can see everything on the map. Lootre has no idea. Like he's just waiting again, timing once more. Dersa doesn't know that there's a player in hookah now. So if they call for a B rotate, maybe it could. Okay, so they're going through long. That's probably the best call. Not worrying about the place that they haven't completely cleared, just in case they don't know someone's there. And every single peak that they're making right now,
a loud push coming in from long now, and oh no. Looter's got to get that first one, then Zig is so out of position here. Was looking to possibly catch someone out of position or come around from the back, but it's just not where they need to be to help out with that push onto hookah, and not much that Zig's going to be able to do about that spike plant. Might be able to grab an exit or two, but otherwise this is going to be another one on the board for BC.
Yeah,
oh, yeah, this is going to be a quick duel. Blows the head right off a raise. No problem for Cat. As we get tied up now at 2-2.
Interesting round that just unfolded. Not something you see every day. You saw the rotations through each of the spike sites, but without the spike, of course. Again, these teams are smart, right? They run good defaults. But it's just a bit awkward because they ran past two different players. The last two that were alive at the end of the round, they got all their entries that they possibly needed. And of course, they lost a man inside a hookah from Lootre. But Looter's he's just a monster with the bucket. He just does those things. But yeah, they sent people through each site, through A, through B, and went past both the player inside of showers and the player that was in hookah forever until the end of the round, which is kind of funny to watch.
Lootre punished for thinking that no one was there.
And another one.
Yeah, Gunner with a big res to even the odds. 5-on-3 now. That's a full swing on player count there. One down, one up. Apocalypse on a big wall bang on Zig. Spike's gonna be able to come into B without any contest here, as they'll scramble to rotate off of A, but Irvine doesn't really have a great answer to the problem of the spike going down right now.
Yeah, I mean, Dersa's already got control of back calls, so no one can peek elbow. These two players seem to just want to take this engagement. You don't exactly know just yet, and Dersa's being so patient. He's got to find the timing. But Ryuuun! That is a disgusting shot, saving the life of his teammate on the breach. Something that should be mentioned as well, there is a breach instead of a brimstone, if I'm correct. That's on Nibbler. So another lineup change that they have for this map. But right now, that specific little change doesn't seem like it's mattering. He's got top frag, but that's kind of similar to everyone else they're on for. But right now, specifically, the thing that's, I think, tripping them up a bit is they're getting a bit aggressive on B long, and the attackers are just able to win the gunfights at this point. Even without that, though, who knows? Maybe the attack is just really good at breaking open the B site, because that's where we've seen the success so far from the side of BC. So if they can continue to do that, maybe they found a little hole in the defense of Irvine that they can exploit for at least a few more rounds oncoming before they decide to adapt to it.
So there's utility going off in that B area, and the fights are just... There's a lot of back and forth, so it's just coming down to those tiny things like who's using utility the best, and kind of just timing on some of those picks, because like you said, they're bloody fights over on the B site. So we'll see if they continue to try to abuse the fact that B is working, or if they take it slow and see if they can induce a fear into Irvine that maybe they haven't had to feel all tournament yet, because I think this is the first time... Oh yeah, my eyes. This is the first time even that I think Irvine's been down all tournament. Is that, if I remember correctly?
That sounds about right. Yeah, they don't go down very much, and it might be only for a round.
Unfortunate for their girlfriends, but luckily here they will be able to sit back and play defense cautiously. And there's just a lot of patience going on right now, but unfortunately, BC isn't really making any noise towards A. The defense is going to be able to just rotate off of A, because there's no threat there. There's no need to respect it. So right now, they can just start slowly making their way in.
Don't let Lootre do this, dude. You can't. He's been so good with the bucket. It's not fair. He's done this multiple times, and they let him get away with it again. Cat, thank goodness, gets 2 in return. But now, on 1 versus 1, and Gunner is able to win that one out. So somehow, they just recover after the 3K from Lootre on the Bucky. This man just makes the shotgun actually looks like a weapon that you should buy on full buy rounds. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, that's a massively impactful triple right there, and just the timing with pushing through that screen, catches a player mid mid reload out of position and just immediately hits an immediate flick onto someone else with the shotgun. It's just, what do you do against that when all of a sudden there's a guy 5 feet away from you with a buckshot? And I mean, his name might not be Dick Cheney, but that certainly was a deadly shot.
That's good.
The spike will rest here in mid as players try to pick each other off, with Ryuuun being the first, successfully stopping some attacking aggression from the A site. Drops out of bathrooms though.
Dude.
Dersa getting another punish onto Long. 2 now.
Oh my gosh.
Dersa and Platinum just not having the best luck right now trying to hold down B Long, and the spike's gonna follow up, making its way into this newly opened possibility for BC to plant. And there is no one in position to stop it.
Deja vu. Alright, it seems like the same issue time and time again. Are they gonna go for a retake? They're sitting in spawn like they want to go for it. And one player's already walked out, and instantly Zig loses the gunfight, not able to replicate what he's done rounds prior.
You're not even in a position to be really trade that either. I don't know what the thought was. If anything, you'd almost want a player to sit back and kind of cover Ryuuun so that there's either someone to kind of be the meat shield to get that out of there, or at least try to bait for that sniper. But at the moment, now Ryuun's just in a rough position where they're just going to have to deal with a bunch of bunny hopping nonsense. Luckily works out for Ryuuun as they drop Dersa, but still a few more seconds.
The Brimstone. Oh, is he going to peek it? Oh,
and
he gets his head taken off.
I don't know if I agree after all that effort to peek that out, but I guess, you know, that's the hindsight. You know, luckily, as the observers, we get to see where everyone is on the mini-map, but obviously the players have to be a little bit more paranoid about where they're coming from. So, easy for me to say why look out there, but, you know, he did at least get one before getting felled. But, oh man, look at that buy. That is some rough stuff from Irvine.
Yeah. Dude, I feel like if you just put Lootre on a shotgun, they won't have the brazenness to go for B long peaks and die to Dersa over and over again. Maybe that's just the solution. A flashbang comes out, so the breach good on him, and Nibbler actually gets one with the revolver, and the sheriff.
It's a smart eco play, a good use of utility to create that opening, gets a quick kill, then just drops back. And on top of that, Gunner doesn't even have an ult to bring back that death, so they're pretty much stuck with this 4v5.
Look at all the util to clear out Hookah too. They have no idea where these remaining defenders might be. And another shotgun, another one battle. They just, you know what? Irvine literally just half buy for the rest of the game. I think they just win. It looks like their passive play is paying off a lot more than when they go for those long directions on whatever, on long like showers.
Yeah, they're gonna actually swing it back towards A now, and it will seem to work out. Gunner's real close to that teleport. Needs to be careful, but it doesn't matter as Ryuuun. Oh no, that wall I think kind of works out for them as they just plant right behind it with full coverage. With Cat being stunned, Nibbler is able to easily drop them, but Zig unfortunately falling to Hammer. Nibbler with the big 3K. Only 8 light left though. Still some utility to work with, but not a lot of information. Also, in this post plant, that's a tough situation to be in. Gonna need to call her out, force her to peek, but not enough as we see some blood, some looks like a shoulder or chest shot, but Gunner, more true in their aim, takes him down, clutches the round 6-2 in the favor of University of British Columbia.
They're showing life. They're actually making something work here, whatever it might be. That round, ironically, got closer than it ever should have, given them, given the fact that they were on eco. It literally got closer than when they had full guns.
Yeah, this is the team that we were hoping to see that first map, and you know what? They proved us right by having a little bit of faith and calling this not a total blowout. So I'm glad to see that they're starting to just really bring it to them. Right now, yeah, they haven't had a single answer for what's going on at B. What do you think they could possibly do differently to either open up that site, or should they just be ignoring it altogether?
I think Platinum really made a statement right there. That was basically what I was about to say. Just start winning the fight against Dersa on long. And this time they finally do it, and there's no more Raze, no more Dersa. Sorry, Dersims in the chat, you guys aren't really getting any action this round. But that's basically what they've been losing their B site here, right? Just this guy sitting on long in that same corner, shooting your teammates in the head, and them having no response until Platinum manages to do the same thing. And this time, they're sitting
Just simply win the aim duel. Oh, that's a lot of bunched up players on A, and there's going to be a lot of bullets flying through that barrier. Gunner gets one, but not before 3 of their teammates are dropped in front of their very eyes. No res either. They get a kill, they'll be able to, that is a res charge. They could swing this back into a 2-on-3. 35 seconds left, plenty of time to make it work.
And goodbye.
Drops through the teleporter.
Wait,
unfortunately, Platinum is still sitting there waiting. I'm not sure why they didn't expect anyone there, but you know, I think that was a heat of the moment play that decided to jump into the teleporter and bring it across.
Yeah, if he kept his gun out, that actually makes that a very winnable round, but unfortunately not yet. Didn't
not the
expect that
case.
there. But, I mean, it worked, right? For the side of Irvine, I mean, that round.
Absolutely.
The first time that they were able to kill the Raze on long, they end up winning. No long presence means no default towards B, means no map presence, means they don't know whether someone's pushed up, which is probably why they didn't expect Platinum up there to begin with. But they just all bunched up on short and got caught up. This time, doing this
big pick on Nico.
They're sending support with the Raze now, but now leaving because I guess they understand that they have the res, which they are going to use on ekolypse. Dersa actually gets a pick, and now this is the problem that's been happening oh so many times. Ryuuun can't even win the first gunfight against Dersa that he's encountered this round, and now already 1 minute 10 left in the round, 30 seconds elapsed. It already looks like this is a one round for the attack, which is kind of crazy, saying that it's literally not even half the round over yet.
It's the definition of an explosive site entry, and there's just nothing you can really do in a 2v5 retake like that. And yeah, it's just one of those examples where, despite the fact that Platinum got the short-range blind, he still peeked out solo into 3 players and just pre-fired because they knew he'd probably peek because they already have their gun aim there. So it's not about blinding and then backing up. You can blind and then back away. You can blind and then just like move to a different angle. But it just seems like, I don't want to call it greedy because that sounds too negative, but it seems like they just overextend the slightest bit, and Irvine is just really good at taking advantage of that, because that was a great blind. You saw the players affected by it. It's just that Irvine's just such a well-oiled machine that they really can draw blood from stone in situations like that. And, you know, despite only having 3 on the board, they're 3 well-earned ones, and right now they're still going to have to really fight for it. But look at that buy. But we've seen them use those shotguns pretty effectively so far.
Not this time. Oh, they just
not this time, indeed. Sent them to the recycling bin.
To the loot bin.
And yeah, Lootre and Zig left alone on A now to kind of slowly rotate over, and we've seen this scene before. We're binging it on Netflix again, apparently, where the 2 of these guys are going to have to just kind of come in and either die ungracefully or maybe get one funny kill before dying, but we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's too much left to talk about in this round. Maybe just reflect on the stuff that they've done beforehand. But yeah, like you mentioned before, the Omen blind. I think something that could... Okay.
See, there's my funny kill. That's all I needed.
Yeah, like, you can't let him do it because they got his back. Don't fight this guy because he can do some work with this. Don't think he'll be finding too much. But,
oh, gets out of there with the gun, too.
Sorry, go ahead.
He gets out there with the gun too, swaps out for a Vandal at the end, 22 health left, and because of how long he forced that bomb to go off, they couldn't even pursue him after because the rest of the defense had to exit, the rest of the offense, I'm sorry, had to exit through long. So smart play there to kind of secure an exit and the Vandal on the way out after just pretty much harassing people with a shotgun for shits and giggles.
I mean, I'd be scared. This guy, I don't want to play this guy on a shotgun. Like, I'd be.
Nope.
This is the person that solo queues to Immortal with only jet and shotguns.
Have you watched Donkey's video on Valorant because that's basically he just like jumps around with shotguns
no.
for a lot and go. Yeah, it's basically like if that were actually good, and that's what these guys are doing on Irvine with their shotguns.
Alright, that's the 3 rounds that they've won. They've had low buys.
Yeah, sometimes you see it where it's like just being with your back up against the wall. It kind of forces them to kind of play it a little bit more seriously, maybe.
Yeah.
I think maybe they got a little too comfortable after that first round, but not to discredit UBC. They're playing super coordinated and just hitting some fantastic shots, using their utility and agents well. It seems like they're significantly more prepared for this map. Ooh, they'll spot out the head. Eco sees that back there. Will fire off, giving up his positioning, but won't pursue much more than that. Content to just kind of sit and wait for the defense to move around him.
This is definitely a lot smarter than what they've been doing before. They've just been fighting Dersa, and if you don't give him those fights, that means he can't headshot you. But this time, Dersa's the one to go in. Yeah, so he takes initiative. If you're not gonna give me the fights, I'll take them myself. So he takes one. Gives them some attention on B, but it doesn't look like they're fooled just yet. Still running a 2-2 setup. The Rays actually leaving the B spike site for some reason. Don't know what kind of information.
And only 30 seconds left on the map, so they're not really giving themselves much time to work with, and the A defenders will be able to rotate super quickly through the A. If anything, I'd almost like to see a fake out over the A. And, oh no!
That
No, Heather! You absolutely rude man.
Oh wait, that's big. That might be the round right there. 4 seconds. They can't.
Sick.
That one nade saves the entire round.
Those were some nutty AoE moves, and some nice aim to wrap it up by Eco. That was just nice to see at the end, but yeah, that orbital strike to take down both the Rez and Sage, that's just, nothing feels worse than getting rezzed and seeing your imminent demise happening on screen. And you just kind of sit there and go, oh, okay, so I just get another death now. And then, yeah, that grenade, that was just, oh my god. Extra sauce on that one.
That goes there.
That's actually kind of crazy, that entire just last part of the round, like not like Ryuuun full committing to the spray. He does manage to get the frag on a Dersa, which I guess has been pretty, I don't want to say hard carrying, but because it's kind of even on the side of BC, but she's
so much impact.
Yeah, this round after round, this guy literally opens up, and probably the reason why they have 8 on the board instead of not 8, less than 8, you get the idea. But yeah, he was able to shut him down, but even still, I don't know if that res and the full commit was worth it, if not for the nade. Like this, genuinely, that one raise grenade, that one paint shell, just shutting that plant down at 4 seconds.
Absolutely massive timing on that grenade, and it's just kind of, it's also what happens when you let the time run out that far before you go for an execute. But there's plenty of time in this round right now, and despite there still being a minute left in the round, we're already in a 4v2 situation. Dersa getting a quick kill on the Lootre. The second one on the Nibbler comes in for an easy defuse now as they just clear out the site, just holding down W and mouse 1. Cat the only one to go down that whole round. And that's going to be an easy 9th round on the board for Dersa and company.
Lootre, what in the world? Like, actually, that's rude. The Cypher probably wants to repeat that, knowing that Dersa has gotten, like, that's half his mag gone, right? He right-clicked twice. That's half the magazine. But Dersa just says no, throws a blast back into his face, which, if you guys don't know in the audience, which you probably should, it's not that hard to realize when it happens to you. But blast packs, they move you. They physically shift your position in the world. So he denied the repeak by throwing a blast pack in the face. Feels bad, man. Shrapnel in the head and then losing the fight afterwards. And turning, not only that, but he's swiveling to the cubby as well, taking out the next player, allowing his teammate to come in and clean up along with that big place from Dersa.
This is looking to be an explosive exit from A bathrooms here as they line up. Visibility being blocked off from heaven and across the A site as the spike's going to come in and go down. Rotate a little bit slow here from UCB, but right now they're still playing patient, not only losing 1 so far. Apocalypse taking down Lootre to even things up, and Dersa now with another nice grenade. Those SMGs just coming in handy now, despite the plant going down and the good positioning from Irvine. It's just tough to deal with those fully automatic weapons.
Yeah, even with that platinum with 1 HP coming around short, like you have better position, I guess, of throwing them off a tiny bit, but that spike, one, isn't planted for you, two, there's four players alive, all with guns, all with automatic weapons.
At that point, you're just looking for a plant and some quick money, so I think Irvine are considering that round a success. Despite the fact that they're down 4-10. First time all tournament that they have been in this position. Despite stomping UCB in UBC in the previous map, they find themselves now on the receiving end of a really impressive 10-4 performance by the hands of British Columbia. And Irvine really needs to step it up now, because they've lost the pistol round. They've managed to get at least a bomb down in the second, so they have the money to go in, but they pretty much need to win on out here to prevent BC from getting a ton of momentum to clear out map 2.
Yeah, it's an interesting fact to mention. I don't know, it's probably not the most relevant because we have all had best of ones, but Irvine hasn't dropped a map in this tournament, right? They're winners bracket, they're the ones waiting for BC to come up through the lower bracket to meet them in the finals. But if they go down here, that's the first map that they will have dropped this entire weekend to any team. I think it's
it may be best of ones, but that's still incredibly consistent.
Yeah, that's a big deal for the side of BC. Even if they don't win the streak, they just take them out. Because we have to mention again, if they win, the best of 3 is another thing. Because the way the way double elim works is that everyone gets to lose twice. So even if Irvine loses, they haven't lost once because they're still in winners bracket. So they have another best of 3. They have another chance. And speaking of another chance, they're making a chance for themselves in this round as they finally get the entries onto the B spike site that they've been lacking of themselves on their defense. But Lootre, as well as one of his teammates, teaming up to get serious.
Don't know that Gunner's in that elbow position. They have no idea that Gunner's there, but Ryuuun will still take him down regardless. That would have been such a powerful position to re-peek from it. Right now, it's just down to Hemmer. A little bit of information to work with. Might just go for an exit or 2 here, but it's going to be hard to genuinely defuse here. Very nice shot on Nibbler, but I just don't think it's going to be enough to defuse here.
The arm. He's got one player left to find. It's the Raze. And he has an ultimate. He's just going to drive him out. This is... No.
My.
No, he's still in there. Oh, my. That... got way too close for the side of Irvine.
That's a heartbreaker. I think maybe if they'd placed the ult a little bit closer to the window, but just looked like Raze was able to walk forward and just get out of that and still shoot. That was an amazing idea, though, and would have loved to see it, but now I'm left here with just a slight bit of blue balls, as that really could have been just such a beautiful play.
I think he just expected the Raze to drop back so far. Like, there's like the Raze would have thought, there's no way he's gonna go for this. Like, he's lost the round, but he had the ults. He just placed it in the wrong spot. Didn't expect the Raze to get aggressive, and that's just unfortunate for them. So they do end up dropping the first full gun round of the second half. We'll see what they can do in rounds future, because Dersa, he's trying to pull a Lootre. He's got the Bucky. He's got the shotgun with his teammates on a 4-spy. So they're trying for this one. They're not just giving it up completely.
Wall bang through the box there to try to clear things out. We'll give up some of the element of surprise there, but I'm sure that Dersa's not super concerned about them pushing. He's just waiting for them to peek their pretty little face over that wall so he can press mouse 1. And right now, though, interestingly enough, Spike is not really all that interested in B, so despite all these resources and attention being paid to B, it looks like this is going to wind up being an A play. See, teleporter goes through. Yeah, we're going to get Platinum's going to come through the rotator to help out at A. You're saying?
Ekolypse to get a pick on the short player. That wasn't the Spike, but that was the person that was supposed to support. And this might be big. Nibbler now makes them pay attention to the B spike side at least for a little bit more.
Yeah, there's 30 seconds left, and then I think Irvine is doing a pretty good job of keeping BC guessing on where this is going to go, because they're getting to pick one way or the other.
Oh, no.
First big one on Dersa. That's exactly what they need to do with that shotgun. Unfortunately, can't connect with the second. Lootre with a quick double onto Gunner and Dersa. Uses the ult to guarantee the information for the rest of the team. With only 10 seconds left on the clock, he has to plant that. Oh, that's a big triple from Eco, and that's just a heartbreaker. With how little time they're leaving themselves to plant here, you have to commit to the plant, and at that point, Eco is already pushing from hookah, and you know you can only pull out your gun so quickly.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, ironically, it was Lootre to end the Bucky streak from the side of Dersa. He was only able to get one because the next one was the shotgun master himself. But even still, able to get into the site, Lootre was probably the one player on the side of Irvine making that round look doable, even though there were only like 13 seconds to plant. He had the spike and he managed to get it down, but just barely out of time, letting the defenders rotate in soon enough so they could just staunch the bleeding. And they get another round on top of that. They're 2 away for taking this map. And that's, again, that's closer than any other team has ever been. Not only that, but... Wait, I said that backwards. They're in a lead, which is better than any other team has shown so far. And now they're about to take it. But this time, Spike did get planted, so it looks like the attack has some life.
A lot of foot traffic there.
That's a bit risky. Yeah, the defenders are just getting all the picks. And
yeah, a lot of foot traffic there going towards the short area. They're pretty much just bunching up for the defenders to pick. And even though the spike may be down, it's just... There's just a lot that can be done with a little AoE when everyone's in the same spot. Yeah, not much that Ryuuun can do there, except maybe gets one with a pistol, and you know what, that's kind of worth it. It forces a rebuy, and Ryuuun didn't really invest that much into that. No harm, no foul.
Yeah, it's difficult to say that now. Like, it's true, but at this point, like, they're 12-5 down. Like, in his situation, there is no right play. Like, there's no wrong play. That wasn't bad. But, like,
with the plant, they do guarantee, yeah, they at least guaranteed themselves the econ there that they could buy into this round. And you know what? If they can get this one, at the very least, UBC isn't running away like they with a bunch of money in their back pockets. They're keeping them pretty honest. So even though it's 5-12, they do still have a runway for a comeback here to make. See the spike down outside B.
As if they managed to open up this B spike set again. And the Gunner's already got a pick on Nibbler.
Yeah. Gunner takes down Nibbler quick and still has Rez on standby, so even if they lose a teammate, they can bring the odds back in their favor pretty quickly. Platinum with a good teleport up there, unfortunately can't capitalize off it, which is just a heartbreaker, because that's one of those shots you need to make if you're going to be able to get the entry like that. Oh no, Ryuuun gets 2, but Zig doesn't get any. Dersa getting significantly more usage out of her ult.
How is Zig alive?
Oh, that's a hot triple.
Platinum's the last one that they have to find, and it looks like they understand where his position. Yeah, they know exactly where he is. The blast packs are going out, deep the drone, and Dersa is not going to lose that fight. 1 versus 4, and excuse me, not a 1 versus 4, but a 4K to shut down that map, and we're going 1-1, tied up in terms of maps between these two teams.
We're going the distance, baby.
And we have to mention again, this is only the first best of 3 against these two guys. If BC managed to take the third map in this first series, they're going to another.
We're bringing it back.
They've got a lot of stuff to trudge through. Irvine, they've got a lot of leeway, but this is definitely going to be a good morale boost for the side of BC.
Yeah, it's definitely their series to lose, and while they have the comfort of coming from the winners bracket, they definitely don't want to let UBC get too much momentum going. Otherwise, we can see what they can do when they're full pistons going and are hitting their shots. They're a respectable team, and despite coming from the losers bracket, they earned their spot here in the finals.
Yeah, I mean, they're pretty much uncontested in the losers bracket, other than by Northeastern. And again, they were the other favorites coming into this tournament. 3 and specifically being these 2 that we have playing right now in the Northeastern, who British Columbia just knocked out in a fairly heated best of 3 just back like an hour ago, 2 hours ago, something like that. But definitely that one's one to check out. That one, if not better than this one already, it's pretty good. The first map was a bit of a blow up, but the rest of them overtimes across the board. So very impressive by these 2 teams. But yeah, BC still keeping some life in them. This is kind of an intense game, so we might spend a second here just filling time because the players do want to break. Don't blame them. This is a heated one. It's pretty on it. There was something I wanted to mention. I already forgot it, so I apologize. Mm,
We
I have
will be
no
going to
idea.
bind for this last one though, right?
I think it's split. Oh
Oh
yeah,
no.
they
Yeah.
were fast about that too. We just played bind and
Yeah. We just played bind. Yeah, I was like,
so
wait.
yeah, Irvine has the choice of map because they did lose the bind, right? So they just immediately right after the map ended, they were like split
Yeah, it
just
looks
instantly.
like BC picked defense. So, all right.
Mm.
Yeah. We have about 5 minutes till the next game is coming on. So we're gonna take a hot second here to quench our thirsts, fill our gullets, and otherwise take care of bodily functions. And hopefully, y'all are taking care of yourselves in the same way. And we'll be right back with us when we get here for Game 3 in this best of 3 between University of British Columbia and Northeastern University here for official Promo Gaming's Collegiate Valorant Tournament.
Money.
I think that is literally perfect timing. My co-caster has just gotten back in his chair, so I guess it's not just once per game, right? It's you've got that
I've
what
got
did you
down to
call
a
it?
science apparently. Yeah, I
Yeah,
pop my ult at least twice a half now.
there you go. That's what, yeah, exactly. So you get at least like 6 kills, and then you get it once, and then you get it another time. So it's yeah, it's fair.
I get it for every like good line I get in for like a good cast. I get some charge.
That
Have to
makes
earn it
sense.
though. Yeah, luckily I'm just so excited to be back. I can't. How could I miss a second of the conclusion of this first best of three? Potentially, the beginning. If UBC can reset, we'll be going to a second best of three between these two teams. And so far, I mean, that last map was not what I was expecting.
Mm-mm. Yeah, I wonder. Like there's obviously like a few like minor things, and then there were the glaring issues, like the long aggression on B from Irvine every single round that got shut down basically
Yeah,
just single-handedly by Dersa. And of course, we can't really ignore the fact that the lineups did change as well for Irvine. I think for BC, I didn't really notice anything different, but for Irvine, they swapped off Nibbler, excuse me, from the Brimstone onto the Breach, and then Platinum used to play the Reyna, and now he was on the Omen, which was questionable to say the least. I don't know if he got the most value out of that compared to what he could have been playing. But yeah, the little things too that you mentioned before, I think our audience was trying to chime in, but one of the players that Omen tried to flash outside of that triple aggression, outside of hookah, didn't actually get blinded. Not only that, but also things that people have to remember when they're playing Omen. Sometimes good Omens will even forget this, but it's not actually a flashbang, right? You've got curveballs, you've got the breach flash through a wall. I forget what it's called, but you get the idea. You've got those,
it's
which actually
just
turn
a.
your screen white, right? But
Mhm.
Omen doesn't do that. So when you're taking aggressions against maybe saving players, anti-eco stuff like that, and you're taking those close range gunfights, and you walk into a player that you've flashed, they're not technically blind, right? So they can see you if you go close enough to them. So maybe that's just one of the factors. I don't know. That again, that's a minor thing, but overarching, just BC with a really good attacking half, able to bring it over the line on the defense. I guess you can't really say it's a surprise. I think Irvine actually that's their first bind that they've shown in this tournament. So I'm not entirely surprised again. They're probably banning that first if they aren't too comfortable on that map. But if that's the case, then definitely welcome to BC to be able to take that against them. But now this is going to be the challenge, right? This is going to be the hard part for British Columbia is challenging Irvine on their split, which has been so dominant over the course of the four games that they've played. Even the first one
Split
where
was the one that BC lost, correct?
yeah.
Against them in the first place. And they feel like they know what they need to fix. So in theory, we might see BC come out hot here and just lay the case for why they're the ones that are going to go home with $1,000 tonight.
Yeah, and that's going to be exciting too because if bind and split are now the weaknesses, if bind is the only weakness, obviously bad news. But if they have managed to solve the problems that they've apparently they've told us that they understand what's wrong, they've told us that they went and worked on it. So if they've solved those issues, then what they've also got in their back pocket, because again they have to win another best of three, right? They've also got a scent, which Who knows how much review Irvine has done on that? Who knows how much of British Columbia they've watched on it? But we know that BC can do some work on that map because we saw them on it just a couple hours ago against Northeastern. They looked pretty decent. They managed to take out over the line, and we'll say that one more time. That's
Absolutely.
why they're here.
Yeah.
Ooh, so we have again. Okay, so Nibbler's fixing his internet, so we might have to fill for a tiny bit longer. But I just want to make sure
Can
complete
we get
competitive
like
integrity.
a Twitch spam for Nibbler's internet? What can you come up with to spam to fix Nibbler's shit internet?
Oh, come on,
Because
dude.
that would
We gotta stay more
be
professional than that.
no, no. They said PG-13. I get one bad word,
Is that
but
how it works?
no, but no, they'll be fixed momentarily. But for the time being, there really is plenty to talk about because both these teams are the ones who've been making the most storied runs through these 2 days of games, and it's you like to see a good clash of titans, and at the moment, that's what's kind of happened here. Just big, meaty punches back and forth as we see. Uh, just expertise being shown map to map, and this clearly isn't all that either side has left in their pockets, and split here is going to be good.
Mhm. Yeah, definitely. Trying to think if there's anything like specific that we can talk about, but unfortunately, Split has kind of been an afterthought. I think for the most teams in this tournament, other than Irvine, they felt really good on it. I know that Looter again. The fact that I know that he's the shotgun player is because that was that one moment on Split where he was able to from like a heaven get like 4 frags somehow. Like how does that even possible? Like you look at the
Yeah,
map,
I kind of
it's
want
long
Riot to
range.
look at that. Kind of want Riot to look at that, but it's the
Yeah.
game that they're playing tonight, so they might as well play it well.
Yo, the spam that you asked for, it's just, yo, Nibbler, your internet is trash. I mean, what
That's
are you gonna do? Sometimes we're in America. It's hard right now. ISPs, no,
Yeah, seriously,
we're
we're
don't
not like a
reflect the region.
civilized European Union country that has like consumer protection laws or anything of the sort.
Yeah,
Like, we're lucky to like just please just gigabit internet, just a crumb as a treat, anything,
yeah,
please.
dude. I live 30 minutes away from Google Fiber. It feels so bad. Feels
Ugh.
unlucky.
Yeah, I'm on Xfinity, and it's just because I really don't have a choice. So,
Yeah,
um,
that's the story of the life over here.
yeah, no, I thought we
It's
were supposed to have choices here in America.
we probably won't get too much into that. That's getting into a different realm, one that we're not too qualified for, but you get the idea. Yeah. So no hate to Nibbler. He's trying his best, probably, just like we
Yeah,
all are
we've
over
all
here.
been there,
Mm.
but
I go there like once like a week. My internet goes out, so I understand.
yeah, especially with everyone being on internet right now, there's a lot more
That
demand.
too.
So, uh, just a lot of things to take into consideration. But
Mhm.
just to remind anyone, if you're either just joining on this game or aren't familiar with this sort of bracket, despite the fact that it is now 1-1 in this best of three, even if University of British Columbia wins the third game, they will have to win another best of three because University of Irvine is coming from the winners bracket, and hasn't actually lost a game yet this tournament. So it's the advantage of winning throughout. You still have to lose twice.
Mhm.
So at this moment, it's a huge game because not only, I mean, UCB has been playing a lot of games today, so I'm sure they probably want to try to wrap up as quickly as possible too.
Mhm.
So if they go into a second series, they're definitely not gonna do another best of three. They're gonna want to try to do 2-0. They don't want to do another 2-1. They don't want to go into any crazy stuff. They need to play cleanly and decisively. But in the same regard, Irvine's got to show why they came in coasting on an
Mhm.
undefeated record.
Yeah. They got to make that split look even better than they have before. Because if I mean, if BC is right and they have done some review, they've done some dry runs, some practice, whatever, and done some maybe anti-stratting, which is fairly new in the scene of Valorant. Because again, this game came out 10 days ago. Yeah. So if they've done some anti-stratting, That's gonna be really interesting to see if they can hard counter some of the stuff that Irvine does. It kind of looked like it back when on the map of Bind, but that might have just been like placebo, given that Dersa was able to wake up in the second map and just win all of his fights that he practically took every single round. Enough harping about that. We might get back to that next map because I don't think he's gonna go to sleep anytime soon. But yeah, so it kind of looked
Sleep?
like that last map, but this is the one that kind of matters because this is the one where they have not only watched VODs probably of Irvine on, but they have literally been in the server and felt what it's been like to go up against the oppressiveness that is Irvine. Because every
I
other
think they want to
team
feel that
that
sting
these
again.
guys, yeah, they don't want to, but they're either going to have to or they're gonna have to try and shut it down, get some bee spray or something, or I don't know.
Yeah, we'll see just how far the competition can go here, and we'll see kind of what sort of strats, anti-strats, or lack thereof come into play, because it really does seem like the teams can themselves look so different depending on what map they're on, because we've seen British Columbia just completely roll over on specific situations. But right now, we'll see them trying to defend in the first half first as we enter Split in the third map of this best of three.
So
See how
soon
aggressive
enough, we'll get to
Irvine
see
can
the
get.
we'll see the operator lineups. Excuse me. We'll see the agent lineups between both two teams, and it looks like similar to Bind, except with full meta this time. So we have the Brim Breach Cypher Sage without the Omen, which is probably a good decision for them. And Cat has actually, look at that, she switched over from the Reyna onto the Breach, so they're bringing out all the big guns, metaphorically and literally. Breach with that grenade to the wall literally it's a huge gun, right? So that's one
Yeah.
change, but the other team as well, back on the Reyna and away from the Omen, away from seemingly the Breach too. So they're on their standard setup, what they've been running this entire tournament. So I guess they decided the change up wasn't worth it. I don't know if it was just for Bind or maybe it was like kind of a fun pickup. Maybe they thought they could close it out pretty easily, but that obviously didn't end up being the case. So we'll see what they have to offer this time. But standard, standard slow play.
Yeah, right now the Spike's positioned outside of long A without anyone really, no one on Irvine really peeking out towards the B site. They have all the resources committed towards A, and despite the fact that one of the things that can happen in this map is a lot of play between shooting things over the skybox or through walls because of how big the map is, it takes a lot of utility to do that. So the 5 of them rushing out onto the site now will unfortunately get dropped by Hemmer, but because of how quickly they can just swarm, he still needs to drop back despite getting that first kill, and Nibbler will flank, get one, but will be dropped by Cat quickly thereafter, and Heaven will be under control by the attackers, by defense now as they clear, get dropped.
Ooh,
Gunner with a quick double.
Oh, okay.
Platinum returns with a triple though, and it doesn't matter. Single, double, triple, Platinum on top of them all. That's the first round secured here in the third map.
Yeah, I gotta say, he looks a lot better on Reyna than he does on Omen. Not gonna lie. It's probably something that we're not too surprised about, but on a
Sometimes people can play Omen a little bit more passively, and I think Platinum's definitely just been playing a little bit more confidently on the Reyna pick. But it is early to tell, so at this point, UBC kind of just wants to, you know, maybe get a pick or two here, force Irvine to rebuy. They're not really looking to win the round, they're looking to win the war, and the battles that they can win right now are economic. So we'll see what they can do. Ooh, that's a nice target dart. Removed, but that wastes a lot of time from Zig, who's still going to be peeking around this garage. Clears out enough room for the attack to feel comfortable sending the Spike over in that direction. And as you can see over by the A site, Lootre just completely able to lock down all of that information by himself. Start moving over the underground to join the rest of the team that's heading out onto the B site quickly, overrunning Eco and Gunner. Looks like Spike will go down, even though there'll be a quick rotate into Heaven. Plenty of utility and weapons left.
it looks like they actually want to go for it, which is kind of surprising. Giving some ult points away, and Nibbler gets 2. 1 off that Brimstone ult, that Hellfire, so pretty decent for him. But yeah, that round was pretty much done and dusted as soon as all those 3 players fell inside the B site. So that's
only lost one character, one agent. Yeah, dire straits on the credit side of on defense there. UBC is going to have to put everything they have into this buy, so if Irvine keeps the streak going, then UBC is going to have to sit the next few ones out in terms of playing with the big guns.
Yeah, difference from last time. Well, they didn't manage, or they didn't decide to go for a bonus round last time, but this time it seems like they are. Dersa managed to pick off Platinum, but the thing is, I think Irvine has lesser guns this time, so even if they do lose the round, well, that's a bit interesting. So I was saying, even if they do lose the round, they should still have a full buy next round.
Dropping Ryuuun, Zig dropping 2, and the spike's going to be dropped alone there on the A site. Nibbler completely out of position. Well, not necessarily out of position, but just away from the bomb now. And going to try to force some one-on-ones. Takes down Cat first, but Gunner's going to make short work.
Oh boy.
Gunner, it means business. I mean, they're playing a shooting game. I guess they just got to do what their name says. It's pretty self-explanatory.
Yeah, honestly, if you can, I mean, at some point, there is the thing to remember that it is a win condition to get all 5 kills. So technically, if you just out-aim everyone, you can just win. You don't have to use utility. It always helps. It helps you get kills if you use utility, but it's not required, right?
Exactly. Just click on their head. It's simple. This time we're going to see a slight pinch into the into mid area, as it's going to be tough. 3-on-2 there, while the attack doesn't have the spike with them. They are gaining a good bit of map control and information, with Ryuuun getting the first pick on the Cat. They still don't have the spike up, but it doesn't matter. Platinum's getting a quick ball bang on the Dersa. Nibbler onto Hammer after getting some revenge. Nothing to be said. That's a quick take up mid.
I was about to look at the clock to see how much time had passed, because I thought the round was about to be over, but then it ended before I had the chance to check the clock. So, oh god. I mean,
they were just looking the wrong way, it seemed.
Yeah, honestly, all those picks. I mean, I think that's what I expected coming into round number 4, but I didn't expect it that one-sided, that dominantly. That was flawless, right? I don't think they had a response on that. But Irvine with a good call there, going for that bonus round on the second, or excuse me, on the third, after they know that their opponents have a full buy. They went for that bonus, they didn't buy up, they didn't upgrade the gun, so just in case they lost it, which they did end up doing anyways, they have all rifles the next round. And they didn't do that last time, which ended up having BC snowball over across so many rounds on that first half, and this time, they've just shut that down immediately on the fourth.
Peek from Gunner there to avoid getting killed, slows it down, heals up, gets the information for the rest of his team to act off of, and it's kind of kept Irvine from being able to fully commit to a site. A lot of resources being used, but slowly they've got 3 in mid, but right now they don't really have a lot of real estate. Nibbler will get Gunner in heaven. Quick spray down from Ego. Dropped by Ryuuun, but not before getting 2 himself. 2-on-3 situation now. Spike gonna go down.
Well,
oh,
that's it. That's
yeah, that's pretty much it now, as Hammer with a ghost is the only thing standing between them and spawn.
They've got Dersa, but Dersa is he's no looter. Let's just to put that kindly. He's gonna pick up that might be a worse gun, to be honest. He's gonna pick up.
I think that's actually worse.
Yeah, they're gonna go for it. They want to get their exits, and they find absolutely
nothing. Unfortunate. Yeah, that brings us to 1-4 now. Zig, the only one to get dropped there. That's very good. Look at how much money they can save now. Starting to accumulate some of that bankroll that can be so dangerous to have to defend against, because it's just an unrelenting offense.
Yes, this should go.
And this definitely debates about this map. This map is very controversial, like the nuke of Counter-Strike, but in this game. It's so back and forth how people talk about, oh, it's defense sided, oh, it's attack sided now that they changed mid, but it's like it's hard to tell until we really have enough competition, but it really looks like UCI is making this action work through their mid rushes, through the fact that they can just kill everyone that's trying to hold inside of mid, whatever the case. They're making it. They're making a fair argument that this is now attack sided based on all the changes that have come, because you've got it's harder to hold heaven because you can't play two 90-degree angles inside of right here B heaven, I mean, and you can't just hide behind the top wall. You can't sage off the entire mid so easily. You can't just slow everything there. This is the first round that they've seemed to have like chronologically slowed down the attack inside the mid, but still look at all the control that they don't have. They don't have any events control. They have one player top ramp and no one inside of A heaven, and they're just using all the util and trying to slow them down even more. But now the problem is they have to win the fights because they're running out of stuff that they can throw.
Still 40 seconds left on the map, and look at how many resources they still have towards A. They have two players still on A, despite seeing nothing there. Their mid and C players are going to run out of utility, but luckily Cat gets a double before getting dropped. Eco doing his job and taking down Zig, but Gunner able to res Cat. Sends him right back to Platinum, though. Gunner just baiting his entire team, but luckily gets the kills required to secure the round.
Oh my gosh, dude.
I wonder if he fishes in his free time, because that was some really impressive baiting.
Dude, don't do this. We have students in our audience, man.
I know. I shouldn't put that much salt on the meal. But, no, that's really impressive. That's unfortunate. That's one of those times with the res where, well, it happens. And then just Hemmer got the first one and peeked out, and it was just the one who was still there. But that's how you win the game. You trade out. It's like chess. You set up sacrifices that you're willing to make for the greater win in the round. And that's exactly what we saw happen there.
That's a really good way of putting it. That is not a really good way of opening up a round. Nibbler with a spray down. That's good for him, not for the defenders. They're just peeking onto that ramp position and lining up for the spray. And 20 seconds into the round might already be done. Because
Spike already planted. Pretty much no one in position to really retake here. They're only starting to get there now. That's rough. 3 on 4 here now.
Util to throw, but okay.
And some aim because Lootre felt like peeking for some reason.
Ooh,
Platinum, nice double on the Cat and Gunner.
Yeah.
Only one left here to defend.
He doesn't know where these remaining quote-unquote defenders are. I guess it doesn't
That's
matter
great
anymore.
molly, and that pretty much is going to seal it. There's nothing that Eco can do here.
Yeah. It's still burning. It's literally beeping fast and it's still burning. So he's gonna be able to get out of there just by the nick of his hair. So he's got a gun save for the next round. So they can actually buy up off of this. I think they've got 2 people that are pretty rich, and the other Cat and Dersa can probably get some SMGs or something else. They've made some stuff work before. But yeah, that was just unfortunate how I guess unlucky. Sometimes you want to go for that ramp progression just to make sure no one goes fast up A, because sometimes you just have that kind of call, and I guess they read into that, but that movement was just unfortunate for them. The fact that you get tagged so hard as well in this game, it's harder than any other game that I think has existed in a while.
Because you get tagged tar on your shoe. Ooh!
Yeah, like honestly.
Hammer with a quick one on the Lootre. Trying to have some cheeky wall bangs in mid there, but not going to get much from it. But still, 2 more picks from the offense here, and they're just going to kind of walk forward. That's just kind of W and mouse 1 combo. Can't be beat.
What is this? The space advantage right now. Gunner takes one off of B site, so Zig goes down. But it's so awkward. They don't know where these attackers are. Again, they've just taken A. I guess
they're pushing all over the map. Really, yeah, so they look at the one guy who's pushing B and put too many resources over that way and just allow the offense to just walk into site, take over, set up a tent.
That's crazy. I mean, just the impact that Zig has. I mean, really well done by him. And now another post plant, another retake attempt.
Smoke's down.
See the smokes come in. Utility being spent for the retake here. And Platinum's going to get the first on the Hemmer. It's going to start making it a lot harder. Yeah, and Gunner's just going to give up at that point. Odds completely out of his favor. He's just
yeah, dude. I don't want to like trash talk Gunner, but usually throughout this tournament, they, like, of course, BC's been winning, right? So they've been looking good, but Gunner's not really the person that you look for, that you look towards if you want those those big numbers, those high fragging rounds. But right now,
Oh, why?
actually he's carrying the team, and yeah, that's questionable as well.
Yeah,
He's at 7.
he seems to be one of the players on the team who is more of like a role player. Not to say that he
Yeah.
can't frag, but he tends to either hold certain angles. Like him fragging out hasn't been the reason they've been winning their previous games. So the fact that he's currently the one doing it is, I agree, that's not questionable, but it makes you wonder if they're not exactly working properly at the moment.
Yeah, like it's well done by him, but everyone else must be asleep for that to be happening.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, Dersa dropped real quick into the round. That's a real brave peek. But Cat will return the favor, 4v4. But Lootre, big info dump for the attacking squad. Zig with a quick double to complement, make good use of that ult. Yeah, it's just so powerful. That's just a great shot. That's just fantastic stuff, and that's one of those things. You were saying before how good that ult is, and that really is why Cypher's ult is so good. If you already know where to aim, then it really is practically child's play.
Woo! Okay, Hammer, dude,
Hammer doesn't. Yeah, Hammer does not want to give up.
No, he is up there with Gunner. 8, 7, and then unfortunately, I hate to say it, like you really don't like to see this, but Dersa once again replicating his performance not on Bind but on Haven, where he didn't look great. He's got 1 kill so far across these 7, 8, 9 rounds. So the fact that he was so influential last map and just opening up the spike site every single time, given it was on attack, but still, the fact that he did have that impact and now he's just dropped off the board completely, that's a big deal.
Nice
Gunner
shot,
waking up again. He's got another one. Cat tagging on. So this time, the entry's in favor of the defense, looking better for them, and they're going to try to cut off his vision so they could probably get this res onto the mid position.
Big res for the offense there to bring things back into at least a 4-on-5. Gunner can self-heal, but gets dropped anyway, unfortunately. Yeah. But at the very least, able to bring someone back before being lost. And there's still a lot of ults available from the defense to really stop any attacks here. But we do find ourselves in a 4-on-4 with a minute left. Still slight advantage for the attackers here. You know, you have to split your team amongst the bomb sites, but the attackers just need to hit 1. So we'll see them group up and start bringing that spike towards the A site. Walking about to the shoulder peak right into this lane. Takes the aim goal, drops to Nibbler. Gonna nibble on that corpse. Dersa, Hammer, 1-2 combo to start opening up A, and the spike will be able to go down because of it. Dersa's gonna try the prevent it going down, but oh no, wastes the ult.
Oh no, he doesn't.
Lootre for Dersa.
Okay.
Hammer with a triple now to clear out the site and secure things, secure round 3, and bring us closer to a more even-looking scoreline. 3-7 now.
That scared me a bit, because Dersa actually died before he could detonate the blast pack, and that would have killed Lootre, I'm pretty sure. I don't think it would have mattered, because you did stick it. Like, it's like a C4 from, like, I think it's like Call of Duty where you can stick enemies. I don't know. It's like a Semtex, basically. You can stick enemies with the C4, and that's what he did. So, less worried about that round in hindsight, but even still, the fact that the Lootre was able to win that fight nonetheless against the player that he couldn't see through the cage, well done by him. And even more well done, I guess, I can say, to the entirety of BC, which that's the first round they've won in a good amount of time. Letting Irvine kind of run away with it, but this time they finally stopped the bleeding. And 2 rounds remaining in this half. They have to try to get this to at least 5. Would probably make it doable. And Gunner looking to make it happen again in mid. He's been looking really good for this map. So I'm impressed by this man.
And picking a good angle too. By changing up his position, he's really preventing himself from being picked off early from someone who can either just peek out into and pre-aim that spot. It's one thing to have good aim from a certain angle, but when you can change up your look, you really stop the offense from being able to read you and make your defense ineffective. And because of this, we're seeing the attack now swing the spike back around to the A site without really having much to say for anything that they've committed to the last 50 seconds of the game. they've used a bit of utility to try to peek mid, and while it's 4-4, they're starting to kind of run out of time to work with, and it looks like this is going to be an easy rotate for the defense.
Sneaking his way out here, though. They don't know about this yet. The ball's going to go up for spawn side, but Dersa is still in the back of sight.
Doesn't even check.
He's finally going to wake up. Yeah, I'm surprised. That's weird by Ryuuun. I guess they really thought it was clear based on something. Whatever the case, he gets not only 1, but 2. So Lootre is now no longer in the game either. And that rocket's probably going to take him out, yeah. GoZig is finally going to shut him down. And he gets another. So it's big individual performances by all the players right now.
12 seconds left on the clock, though.
I have the spike. Yeah, there's no way. There's 9. He cannot fake.
Well, they let
these defenders. They have to run into him. Yeah, okay. They
somehow gets it down, but that'll at least get him some money, but... yeah, that'll give them a good amount of money to work with, and unfortunately, for the defense here, they lost 3 people that they're going to have to rebuy on. And while they do have a good bit of money, and they bring 3 guns over, especially including those operators, you want to try to be as clean as possible when you're starting to mount this comeback. You need as much money as possible, and every death counts in that sort of situation.
I guess their logic was it is the last round, so maybe they just don't worry about that too much. They can just throw some stuff away. But look at Lootre. He's on a bulldog. He can't buy a rifle. I guess he hasn't been the most impactful player this time for Irvine, but I mean he is capable. Like, we've seen that before. We've seen what this man can do. So the fact that one person is on a lesser gun, who knows? Maybe just again the micro decisions, little things like
flash into mid. And we're seeing the spike held up towards the bottom left of mid with a little bit of action going on in B garage. Trying to peek out there, but that camera being such a nuisance. Right now, it looks like UBC is content to just sit back and allow these pushes to continue. They don't want to peek out too far into mid and lose players that they can't trade. And they haven't seen the spike yet, so for the time being... oh no, and Dersa's going to punish Platinum for trying to get too far into the Bear's den.
What? He doesn't get hit by the ultimate. Does he see the breach? That's his teammate. Oh wait, his teammate ulted. Okay, that's weird.
I don't know what happened there, but Nibbler will take down Dersa and return us to a sense of normalcy as Hemmer trades out. Hemmer gets a 30. It is absolutely Hemmer time, as Gunner will bring back Dersa from the dead as we send Cat off in his stead. But Zig will get quickly dropped. Dersa didn't really need to pop that ult, but hey, you know what? They got the round. That brings us to 5-7. This is looking a lot less dire than it did just a couple minutes ago.
Definitely, yeah. Closer than I thought it would be at the point where they were, what, 5-1 up at the start, I'm pretty sure. I've been so focused on the game that I forgot to write down my notes, so I don't actually know the
this has been
round
wild
timeline.
Back and forth.
But yeah, it's definitely... So BC they're not wrong, right? When they were in the interview and they said that they fixed the problems that they've had with the Irvine, they've brought it close. They have a decent amount of rounds, especially for the first half, and now that they're on attack, which is arguably, you can say it's the easier half, if they utilize the changes that have been made to this map since its release, it would probably be a bit better. That though, that's not a good start. I guess it's even. They double dinked. I didn't realize that Nibbler also got dinked by a ghost through a wall. My bad.
We're seeing the spike headed towards B, but slowly at that. It looks like Gunner wants to try to get a pick here and open things up for B so that the rest of his team can continue through. But right now, no luck, as what little utility is available to both teams is being spent quickly here in this mid-skirmish. Well, Apocalypse finally getting one onto Nibbler. Gonna bring things into a 4v... oh, quickly now a 5v2 situation. Not looking good at all.
Poor Ray's Zig just can't do anything inside of that. The hole that he got basically coffined up into. Lootre's got 1 back, but he's on 20 health, and he's got to find 4 players with pistols. It's not going to be the most easy task. He's going to take some... well, he's going slow, but he takes a fight. Yeah, they're all looking at him. He's done. He's not even going to try.
21 health. There's... oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Brings us to 6-7 now, closer and closer to the tie-up. And while it's only the pistol round, we'll probably see this one go to the attack side, considering they'll now have bonus of planting, and all of those players that stayed alive, they don't have to rebuy much, and those SMGs will get them pretty far. They will even buy up a Vandal or two.
Ooh. You know what? I think the player to watch for this round is definitely... You know what? Okay, I was about to say it's a Lootre, but it looks like UBC has learned their lesson in not to challenge this man on light buys. So Lootre actually has a shorty. He doesn't have a bucket like I thought he would. But they're not going to... Yeah, so they're playing high percentage. They're not going to actually force up this round. And the entirety of BC is just going to double it. They're not going to... They don't want to fight him, which, I mean...
Look at how hard they're stacking the defense, too. Look at how hard Irvine is playing into mid and B side. They're pretty much just allowing Lootre to solo hold this and just chill there.
Yeah, I mean...
But unfortunately...
Really blame him.
But unfortunately, despite stacking 4 players over there, it doesn't matter at all, as they're just mowed over one by one, and the spike's going to go down in favor of UCB.
Definitely think that was a good read by the side of Irvine, and as well the side of British Columbia too, because I think that that's basically what they had to worry about. Was this man right here, and Heber's able to quench their thirst and shut down that monster on the other side that can do so many things with a shotgun. So they're not gonna go towards it, which is smart. So they've got the 7. They've got to even round count, and now this is where it matters, right? This is where the guns come out for both teams, and maybe even a bonus round perhaps for the side of BC, because they did have those SMGs that they could maybe hold over, but it doesn't look like they want to. It looks like they want a full buy. Yeah, they're actually gonna upgrade. Most of them are gonna upgrade. Cat's gonna be left kind of in the dust, but this is the risky thing that Irvine decided to do last map, which kind of bit them in the butt, and they didn't do this map, which allowed them to kind of run away with the first half, at least temporarily, until BC started to wake up. But now is when BC needed to show us that they can have their solutions on the attack, on the gun rounds as well. Because if they lose this one, that's when the money gets broken. That's what made Irvine go down so many rounds last map, and they definitely don't need that again, BC.
They're starting to send most of their aggression once again towards the B site, trying to split through Garage and Heaven. Spike gonna make its way through Heaven. Back of sight, don't think that's quite cleared. It is now, and the Spike's gonna go down safe and sound. Rotate's gonna come in through Heaven, but not fast enough to really contest this or really stop the attacks from pretty much setting up wherever they want now for this post-plant position. Zig's gonna be in a difficult spot now. Been plenty of time, not a ton of resources already down their bomb bot. Might just be worth saving here, as neither team really with a ton of money. Yeah, they're both gonna just back out together, try to just save what they can for the next round, because my god, are those boys broke.
Yeah, it's looking rough this time. It's not something we've seen very often, but yeah, this time they're just gonna chill, sit back, talk about their plan for the future rounds. But if you look at the scoreboard, holy crap, there's someone that we haven't talked about that much for this team. Hammer on 20 frags. That's a lot of number. That's a big number compared to most of the other on the server right now. And Dersa too, that specific round opening up into mid with 2 great headshots onto the B Heaven players, is being able to get his team up there. He might have gone down afterwards to the blast back of the opposing rays, but just the fact that he was able to get those 2 openings and at least make at some point the defenders wonder whether they are faking, whether they are trying to commit to B, which they did end up doing, and able to get all the rest of the kills into the B spike site anyways. Well done by the attack, and specifically again to Dersa for that Heaven play.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, we'll see on this round the continued complexity of this game continues to evolve as we have this never-ending back and forth between these 2 teams that, you know, at first you'd think it might be a stomp, then the reverse stomp, then now it's just a gritty back and forth, and we're not really seeing the same attack twice here as the Spike slowly walks up towards long A. No resources being spent towards B garage, or even mid. Meanwhile, they've been sending a lot of people towards mid previously to at least draw some attention, but right now they just seem full hellbent on taking upper A and storming the site. Zig's going to get the first big defensive kill on the Dersa. Hemler returning the favor in the form of dropping Nibbler. 4-on-4 in the favor of the defenders now, as they're all here. The rotate's already in store, and right now they either need to decide to pull the spike out or commit to this, because there's only 20 seconds and the spike carrier is dropped. Hemmer caught out by Lootre. Ego trying to find something to do with this. 15 seconds has to pretty much go now.
Oh
Jason does stick some little bit of disrespect there as he sticks him like an old school Halo sticky. Oh, I'm sorry, not Halo. Gears of War. Oh man, tagging people in that game back in Xbox Live was an experience. But I digress. That brings us to an 8-8 scoreline. Once again, just absolutely incredible how back and forth this whole series has been. And just look at where we are now, 8-8. Both teams fully loaded with weaponry once again. Spike postured towards the B site, and we'll see if the defense decides to shake things up after that explosive A take.
Yeah, explosive, but it didn't end up. It didn't end up actually working for them. It looks like they blew their own legs off, because that was weird. They just full committed into the A and drew all the rotations. And they committed anyways. Like they kept going. They're like, "Nah, we're not gonna fake this. We're just gonna go." And they
took so long to plan
one by one.
Yep, and
yeah,
they didn't get the spike in. I don't know why they didn't get the spike in. They seem to clear out most of the deep corners.
They lost the fight to the player in heaven with a pistol, and that was Platinum. So I guess well done to Platinum for winning two, not just one, but two different gunfights with a ghost against rifles in that round. And it looks similar this time too. It's a 3v3, so even count, but Platinum has done what he can to keep them in this round by those that one kill, excuse me, in the B main.
Yeah, and it looks like BC is going to swing the spike back over to the A site. They've got two players in mid, so they'll be able to at least split off with Heaven here, but they're going to be walking into the crosshairs of at least one defender, unless timing says otherwise. No, Zig peeks at the perfect moment, a different kind of time than we expected, but Zig will get a quick double utilizing the ult. Platinum cleans it up on the gunner, secures the 9th round on the board for UC Irvine, closer to taking home the $1,000 grand prize. $1,000 grand prize for the first place winner for the $2,000 total pool here at the Promo Gaming Collegiate Tournament. And as the winners, they just need to win this map and they can go home, or, you know, log off. That's pretty much the closest thing we can get these days in these unprecedented times. But let me talk like it's normal and we leave the house, please.
Speaking of normal, it's kind of rough right now, right? Like, lands are getting canceled all over the place. We haven't had crowds in like forever. It's kind of quiet, but it's good to imagine, and like the spirit's there, right? So if anyone in the chat wants to, like, I don't know, role play something, I think Dersa definitely needs some of your cheering, right? BC down only one round, but they've shown so much resilience so far, only with a pistol, so maybe not this time. But everyone in the audience, if you guys want to see this man do something great, make some noise. Let's go, boys.
And I will be so happy when we can return to having packed arenas. And I want to see what Valorant manages to get for those local sort of events, because, I mean, there's already clearly people interested and hyped about the game, and the sky is the limit. And there's already the fact that so many people are still flocking to online games and online tournaments is just nice to see. I think esports is in a real fun place right now. And unfortunately, Cat is not in such a fun place, as he's going to pull all of his utility to try to stop everyone. We'll get Ryuuun, but Lootre will come in off the flank and drop Cat finally, clearing out the site, saving the day, defusing the spike.
It almost worked out. That got pretty close because he ulted that one player that was underneath the heaven. If Lootre didn't come in at that specific time, that might have just been a done deal. But no, he gets there just in the nick of time, and they managed to take the 10th for the side of UCI. So they are up still in the second half, just barely. But that is, yeah, again, like you said before, Chemix, that's what they need, right? These guys just have to take this map, and they're kind of done. They just walk away with a fat stack of cash in there. Well, metaphorically, a fat stack of cash. And
this
BC has got a long ways to go.
Yeah, exactly. That's the other thing. At this point, the mental pressure of having to not only clear out this game, but then having to win another best of 3 after this. It's going to weigh heavily on BC, but it doesn't matter at the moment. They need to focus on this round, this moment. With a minute, 20 seconds left, Platinum's going to get a 6 shot onto Hammer. Rush through from Cat, although that will be figuratively short-lived as Zig gets a fast triple before we can even talk about it, and Lootre gets the last one on the eco. Steals it from being a 4K, but you know what? It's teamwork. It makes the dream work. We'll let it happen here. A 3K is still pretty darn impressive.
I don't think anyone had any idea what just happened. There goes Zig with a Phantom just spraying down 3 up in heaven. I thought that was gonna be a round. I saw Dersa walk out in the mid and tap that guy off a heaven position. Or I don't actually know because it was so fast. Might have been heaven, it might have been vents, but whatever the case, that man just got removed. And
yeah,
this is the moment. This is the moment.
Made
Platinum
quick work of him. And Cat taking Zig out again. Zig has been very important in previous rounds that BC's done well in, and when he's just removed from the round, especially just when Raze is removed from the round in general that early on, it just makes it so much harder for the rest of BC to get things going. You know, like Raze is a character too, especially in some of these these defensive spots. Okay, Cat. Do so much, but right now there really isn't anyone on defense doing anything, as now they just take over heaven. 4 players down now. BC wants to play.
That was the answer. That
yeah,
was
just,
it. Just have
click.
Cat walk in, shoot 3 people in the heads, and now save round. We got some time. We got a lot of time. That was interesting how that unfolded. We got 21 and 13 on Hammer, by the way. This guy is no joke, not slacking at all right now. Ryuuun, he's actually wanting to go for this, likely because he's got nothing really to lose. Maybe an operator, but they've got so much cash. Doesn't really matter. So he does go down, doesn't even take anyone with him. And they can buy up for a few more rounds.
Yeah, and that will be a flawless win for the attack here, which is super important for their economy. It gives them a little bit more wiggle room to work with as they continue grinding towards this comeback. But right now, only 2 rounds away for UC Irvine to secure the bag, secure the tournament. And, you know, they've been playing things pretty cool right now. It hasn't seemed very panicked just yet. And they also have 4 ults on standby. 4 ults on standby with the 5th on the way, only 1 charge away. So depending on how they play this, they could almost nearly guarantee, a little bit of body blocking going on there, but they could nearly guarantee a successful site take if they use their ults correctly based on their agent choice. But at the moment, they're content to sit back and let the play develop with a minute 20 on the clock. Spike slowly heading towards mid from underpass A.
There's for a little something off in B heaven. Damages the wall as well, and there it goes. I remember the Sage nerf. That was a big one that hit her. A few, even, not even just one, but the fact that the slows last not as long, the fact that they slow for less percentage, the wall lasts not as long as well. Oh, speaking of nerf, Cat gets nerfed out of the server, and Dersa even gets shut down. That's not a good sign, but Hammer is alive, and okay, not for long. He's been the one to show up in most of these rounds so far, at least for the map. Gunner is going to bring Dersa back, but oh, not that timing. The ultimates, you were talking about him, Chemix, they could have had an impact, but this time they're just wasted as he pops his ult, so he reses the player inside of heaven, but doesn't expect the re-aggression from GoZig, I guess. And now,
getting some revenge for those last couple rounds.
12-9. So it's a match, series, map, and tournament point. That's a lot of different things that are on the line right now. And that's a
feel that? I
hard
feel
wall
that.
that BC is backed up against because they can't make a single mistake, or else not only are they out of this tournament, but they're out of contention for that first place $1,000 prize pool. Because not prize pool, $1,000 first place prize. And that's kind of a big deal, right? That's a difference of like $50 a player. That's the difference between being able to buy an entire skin pack or not. And it looks like GoZig really wants those skins because he's going to be opening up onto Dersa. Been looking so good. Nibbler falling up as well.
Triple.
And it looks like it's all over. This is likely the tournament life on the line. The Breach, last one alive. He's top ramp, is just cowering for his life. Nothing much he can do. He's got a minute, so he's got time, but he needs to find 5, and the Cypher knows exactly where he is. Cat finds 1. He's looked so good in this entire second half of this map of Split, but the ultimate comes out. He gets knocked out of the heavens by the Brimstone and gets shut down by Nibbler with a 4K to close it out. And that is it, ladies and gentlemen. That is the map and the series and our tournament going towards UCI Irvine. Said that twice, but it's fine. Irvine take this entire thing and almost a sweep. By the way, you can't understate how impressive this performance by this college has been.
Consistent.
They dropped one map this entire tournament.
And despite how impressive that is, do not take away how impressive the performance from University of British Columbia was. I got to cast all of their previous games, and it has been an absolute pleasure to watch them just battle their way into this finals match. And I hope to see both teams continue and hopefully meet each other again in the future, because that'd be a nice collegiate rivalry to see develop in the future, since we're, it's the ground floor here. And I mean, there's a lot of promise that we saw over the weekend and some really, really sick plays.